Now. Yeah.
This is Zurich Airport calling for Racing Unleashed Season 2023 Beyond the Pinnacle. Today we race at Mugello Circuit, the home turf of Ferrari. Ladies and gentlemen, start your simulators. Get ready for racing.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. It's a good start from Rock already. They make contact. And look at this, look at this. The Rock has tamed the bull.
This is Racing Unleashed.
And a very good afternoon to you then, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Racing Unleashed, where we go beyond the pinnacle here in 2023. I'm your host, as always, Mathew Duffin, bringing you tonight's Challenger League action, the third round of the season here at the famous Mugello Circuit, the home of Ferrari. And what a day we have in store for you tonight. A lot of drivers fighting for all the positions on this circuit and championship points and prizes up for grabs this opportunity tonight. We've got three new drivers on the grid, two returning faces from last year, and one new face to the grid. But let's take a look at the car that they will be driving. It is the Racing Unleashed RU23. There it is in all its glory to the right hand side of me. The RU23. Still a car that's being developed, still a car that's being worked on heavily throughout the season, and we are hoping to bring it to new upgrades as the season goes along. That is the challenge, that the drivers will have to face this evening and today. Here are the trophies as well. The smaller one you see to the left-hand side, closest to me, is the one that the Challenger League drivers tonight will be fighting for, and the bit of a bigger one to the other side of it is what the Racer League drivers will be fighting for as well. this season, ladies and gentlemen. 2 spectacular trophies, 1 spectacular car and 1 spectacular circuit we have to take you through tonight. Mugello is a fantastic track. Let's take a look, though, at the last race at the Red Bull Ring. The result list was as follows then, and this is how it all shaped up at the end of the Challenger League race at the Red Bull Ring, in which it was Rock Mertzel who, on his first outing here at Racing Unleashed, took the race win. Yannick Pletcher was second place with a penalty. Nico Forland in third. Borges Arzo, Augustin Torlacci rounding out the top 5. Marcus Valverde dropped down the standings with penalties to 6th. Gianluca Palmisano in 7th place with Adrian Gomez 8th. Besnik Mertezi was in P9 and Lorenzo Hayder P10. The bottom half of the grid, Thomas Herzog was in 11th place. Walter Trauninger in 12th. Joshua Hayder 13th with Robin Donny in 14th place. Roberto Miguez 15th, Fabio Schlegel in 16th place, Mario Stanek P17, P18 for Andreas Koch, Matthias Overkirk in 19th, and Michael Farland 20th, and a lap down. So that's how they finished at the Red Bull Ring. You saw there were a couple of drivers with penalties to their names, which obviously affected them in terms of penalty points this season so far, meaning that we have 3 drivers tonight, 2 because 1 didn't qualify for tonight's Challenger League. 2 drivers will have to serve a knockout qualifying ban. We'll get into those a little later on. But what a race it was at the Red Bull Ring. Rock Mertzel, who was first for so long, had that fantastic defensive drive, if you remember, ended up then dropping to P3, getting passed by Yannick Pletcher and Nico Forland. Let's take a look at him as he took the win. The Rock Mertzel, will take not only qualifying pole position, he takes the race win as well. Rock is your race winner. Should be very, very happy with the work he did today, because that was a fantastic drive. Led the race brilliantly, defended brilliantly. It took a bit of contact to knock him off the top step. Absolutely brilliant to see Rock there receive the high fives from his other drivers. P1 in qualifying, P1 in the race. He's been number 1 all day. The Rock has tamed the bull.
This is Racing Unleashed, Beyond the Pinnacle.
And that then is what happened last time out at the Red Bull Ring. This is him live on circuit at Mugello at the moment. Rock Mertzel, then your previous race winner, trying to tame Mugello today. Can he get this one done? He tamed the bull last week. Can he do it now on the Prancing Horses home circuit as well? Could it be 2 from 2 from him? He's got his work cut out today, obviously starting further down in the knockout qualifying session due to the way that it is reverse championship order. So Rock Mertzel will be starting further down the grid. If you remember as well, in that race he came from 3rd. The penalties meant he got promoted back to 1st, and he was very, very happy to take that race win. And it was a great day in Kemptol. It's been 2 wins for the Kemptol Zurich Racing Lounge so far this season in the Challenge League. Yannick Pletcher won at Silverstone. Rock won at Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Can Kemptol make it 3 wins from 3 here at Mugello tonight? Only time will tell, and there is plenty of drivers there who are going to be up for this one. But Rock Mertzel at the minute currently not got a time on that leaderboard at the moment. 14 drivers have set a lap time, so Rock Mertzel at the minute clearly hasn't set a valid lap time just yet, but is getting to grips with this fantastic, twisty, fast flowing circuit here in Tuscany then. And I'm sure Rock Mertzel will be absolutely loving the chance. There he is in his simulator, getting to grips with the circuit. We saw him out there just a moment ago. And he'll be looking for win number 2. He'll be looking to go back-to-back this evening. And back-to-back here at Racing Unleashed. Obviously, it was only 2 weeks ago that he took his race win, so he'll be looking to go back-to-back today in this one then. And for Rock, what can he do? Like we say, he's starting down in P16 in the knockout qualifying session, so he's got a lot of work to do to come from by the back of the pack towards the front in the qualifying session. There is family and friends in the background there in our Zurich lounge, cheering Rock and every other driver on as well. So plenty of support for our Racing Unleashed drivers in this one today. Rock Mertzel currently out in his gear up session, ready to go and looking forward to being centre stage maybe once again. Hopefully we'll speak to him a little later on, maybe in the pole sitter interview, or if not on the podium. He does not want to talk to us at the moment. I believe actually we do have Rock at the moment. Rock, can you hear us? we are just awaiting Rock to join us. We are going to get a quick chat with him while he is in his gear up session. We're going to be able to speak with Rock momentarily, just as he's in his gear up session, and we'll be able to hear from him in this gear up. Obviously, the driver's very difficult decision for Rock to make. He obviously, I believe now, can hear us. Rock, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
How are we doing, my friend? Are we looking forward to this one?
Yeah, but practice was not as good as I expected. So I will try to get some points today and finish without an accident.
Is that the goal then today? Just score as many points as you can?
Yes, and stay consistent and fair and make some moves, gain some places and get some points, yeah.
Well, Rock, it's been fantastic to talk to you. We hope to speak to you again a little later on in the programme.
Yeah, thank you.
So Rock Mertzel there then, clearly getting ready for his preparations. Points is the goal for him today. And there you see our live camera footage of Rock just getting some last moments of the gear up session to get himself familiarised with the Mugello Circuit. You see there, just coming through what looked to be the final corner and down the start straight we're coming. There's one of the Hayder brothers, Lorenzo Hayder. He's got a big task ahead of him today. He's a quick qualifier. His brother was actually the joint first quickest qualifier with this man here, Yannick Pletcher. They did the exact same lap time in the qualifying to be invited to the Challenger League race once again. Yannick Pletcher and Joshua Hayder was the two men that, did the exact same lap time in that qualifying process. And Yannick Pletcher, here on screen now, is currently our championship leader. And we'll be starting, therefore, by the back of the pack, ahead of the guys who's on a knockout qualifying ban. But Yannick Pletcher, championship leader at the moment, second place and a first place to his name so far this season. He's currently actually 1.5 tenths off the back of Marcus Valverde at the moment. And I believe we can now see what happened with Yannick last time out at the Red Bull Ring. And look at Yannick's face. There's no pressure. There's no... he's not pushing himself. He's just keeping calm, as he does all the time. There's the smile, there's the ocean, the race is done, there's the emotion. He's not number one this week, but he's still number two. He'll still lead the championship. And Yannick Pletcher makes it first and second in the first two races in the Challenger League.
This is Racing Unleashed, Beyond the Pinnacle.
And what a result that was for Yannick Pletcher last time out, second place. Here he is now in the gear up live from his cockpit in Kemptall. He's getting the laps around Mugello Circuit. Bit of traffic in front of him. And I believe we can hear Yannick now. Yannick, how are we?
Great. Thanks, Matthew. Thanks. I'm feeling great today. Yes.
Are we looking forward to this one today? Obviously, this was your first race last year at Mugello. What can we do this time?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I mean, starting from last, it's always a bit difficult, But I try my best, and I look how the race will evolve eventually.
Big gap today. Obviously, you've got some of your rivals starting here in the knockout qualifying session. Does that give you a bit of motivation, knowing that they have to start lower down as well?
Yes, a bit. Yes, definitely, because. I've got now the confidence that I only got 5 penalty points, and that's not so much, and that's also great for me because now I can really drive a bit slower than before, a bit calmer, and not be so aggressive on the
Yannick,
overtakes.
We wish you the best of luck, my friend, and we hope to speak to you later on in the programme.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you.
Yannick Pletcher there, then obviously your championship leader at the moment, and is getting ready for his knockout qualifying session coming up a little later on in the programme. What a chance to speak with these drivers while they're getting in the zone and prepared for their knockout session and their race. Thank you to Rock Mertzel there and Yannick Pletcher for allowing us to speak with them during the gear up session then. So they're getting ready. Yannick hoping for maybe another win and maybe another podium at least. Rock looking for points if possible. Yannick's got a big chance to fill at the moment. We see Marcus Valverde behind us now, who is on a knockout qualifying ban. He received the 20 penalty points after the first 2 races season, which has given him now his knockout qualifying ban. So he will have to start at the back. And I believe, according to my list, he's starting 19th place in the race. So with this, he's obviously not in knockout. 19th place will be where he lines up on the grid in the race itself. And this is Joshua Hader, who is the second man to be on the knockout ban as well. Apologies. Joshua Hader as well, 20 penalty points after the first 2 races as well, meaning that he himself has a knockout ban and he will start the race later on in P20. So for Joshua Hader then, he's a man who's got a lot of work to do, because he was the joint quickest driver with Yannick Pletcher in the qualifying for the Challenger League race here at Mugello. The lap times from all the drivers, and then obviously we get the top 20 that we pick to come and race on the day. Joshua Hader and Yannick Pletcher set the exact same lap time, so it is an absolute shame that this man has a knockout ban, because what pace he has, he's now got to be patient and come from the back. Let's not forget though, their points are now reset to 0. After the knockout qualifying, they'll be back on 0 points. Another 20 points to their name, though. That will be a race ban. So we've had both Hader brothers now on a knockout ban. We also have had Marcus Valverde on a knockout ban. And Roberto Miguez was the other driver, but because didn't qualify for today, will carry that knockout ban the next time he qualifies. So that's 4 drivers in the Challenger League knockout bans to their name already at the moment. So hopefully today, just looking at my list here, Sven Kusnel and Robin Donny aren't far away from a knockout ban. Neither is Mario Stanek, who I don't believe he is racing today, apologies. So them 3 drivers there have all got to be careful today in knockout and in the race that they don't pick up another 5 or 10 penalty points, because that could go against them and give them a knockout ban going into the next track at Imola in a fortnight's time. Then here though is the starting grid for the knockout qualifying session. Mohamed Ramsey, a returning face from last year, will be starting P1, with Antonio Rivoli, P2, another returning face from last year. Chris Hatsky, we're going with. He's brand new to Racing Unleashed. He qualifies P3. Mario Stanek, 4th place, with Unai Morato in P5. The 13-year-old Robin Donny, P6, with Andreas Koch in P7. Thomas Herzog, 8th place. Fabio Schlegel, P9. And Gianluca Palmisano rounding out the top 10. Bottom half of the table now then. Walter Troninger, P11. Lorenzo Hyder, P12 for him. Augustin Torlacci, 13th place in knockout. Adrian Gomez will start from 14th. Borges Arzo, the prologue, 15th place for him. Rock Mertzel will start 16th place with Nico Farland 17th, and Yannick Pletcher, the championship leader, 18th. There you see Marcus Valverde and Joshua Hader 19th and 20th. That's where they'll start in the race, not the knockout qualifying session then. So that then is your classification order for the knockout session coming up in a few moments' time in the programme. And what a knockout session it provides to be. If you cast your mind back to 1 year ago at Mugello, we had one of our closest knockout finishers in the Challenger League, and it's going to be an interesting one to see today. Let's take a look though at the rankings at the moment. The overall standings then in the championship look a little like this. And as we said a moment ago, it is Yannick Pletcher who leads the way. He's 43 points to his name. Nico Farland up to 2nd place on 27. Rock Mertzel 25 for his win last time out. Borges Arzo's P4 on 22. So it's tight between them 3, between Adrian Gomez. Before Adrian Gomez, P5, 19 points. A point ahead of Joshua Hader in P6. 14 points for Augustin Talachi. 9 for Lorenzo Hader. 8 for Marcus Valverde. And Walter Troninger rounding out the top 10. 6 points as well for Gianluca Palmisano. Besnik Mertezi then is P12 on 2 points. Tyler Klausch on 2 points as well as Fabio Schlegel on a point. Thomas Herzog, Andreas Koch, Martis Reiniger, Unai Morato, Thomas Fuglistaller and Michael Waversick all on no points. So that then is your current classification for the championship standings here in the Challenger League. And it's fascinating to see how big a gap Yannick Pletcher has already That is what a win and a second place will do for you in this championship so far. 2 rounds gone out of 10, 7 rounds remaining. And if he carries up this momentum and this form in the races today and in 2 weeks' time at Imola, surely as we get to that halfway stage, he's going to have a good gap where he can just start to relax and start to maybe collect points instead of podiums. But you tell any racing driver to not go for a win or a podium and just collect points. They will tell you no. So knockout session coming up momentarily then, a few moments time. Obviously, we'll be bringing you our fantastic rush hour programme with Fabio Vettiger. Will be joining us a little later on as well to discuss replays that we'll see from the knockout qualifying session, to discuss anything to do with the drivers on penalty points. Here is, though, a graphic that explains the knockout qualifying process for you then. Lap 1 is a no overtaking lap, a warm-up lap, if you will. It is fully behind the safety car. All 18 drivers will line up behind the safety car and will follow it around in a warm-up lap. Laps 2 and 3 then are guarded laps, meaning that you can overtake. It's racing as normal, but you cannot be eliminated. The end of lap 4 means that drivers will start to get eliminated, and at the end of lap 4 we'll start to see the bottom 2 drivers of every lap be eliminated until we have our grid order. That goes from end of lap 4 all the way down to, I believe, the end of lap 13, might even be lap 12 because of the 2 drivers on qualifying bans. Prize money then. Excuse me. Prize money, Challenger League on that far side. 750 Swiss francs up for grabs today for a race win. If them drivers can take it, 500 for second place, 300 for third. So a good podium will still score you some good money. 200 for fourth place, 150 for the top 5, all the way down to 30 Swiss francs in your back pocket today for a top 10 finish. The championship graphic then, 3,000 Swiss francs in your pocket to take home with you if you're the championship leader. We'll get to the Racer League prize money tomorrow. The qualification phase, it opens up again on the 12th of June, which I believe is Monday. So make sure that if you want to get involved here at Racing Unleashed, you come on down to one of our 5 lounges and you get yourself signed up and involved. You've got between the 12th of June and the 21st of June to qualify for round 4 of the season, which will take place at Imola. They are the rest of the dates where you can come and qualify for the Challenger League events and try and earn yourself some of that prize money. Get yourself some points for the season as well, and maybe look to get a full-time seat in for next year then. So the 12th of June till the 21st of June is the qualification phase for this week, going into this race in 2 weeks' time at Imola then for race 4 of the season, in which will be a fantastic event, a fantastic race, a fantastic chance for drivers to have a go at the fantastic historic circuit there. There is Joshua Hader then, clearly just taking a breather. He can't qualify now, so he's just got to sit and wait while he's watching what looks to be his brother, Lorenzo, who had that qualifying ban, who had the same feeling last time out. He will be making sure that we are ready to go as we look like we're underway then for this knockout qualifying session. And the safety car will take us away. And we, I believe, are underway now for this knockout session here in this one then. So Mohammed Ramsey will be the man to get us underway when the lights go out and we get ready to go. Coming through this fast, beautiful circuit here at Mugello in Tuscany. It opened in 1974, 15 corners, 9 to the right, 6 to the left. These drivers have got to negotiate here in knockout qualifying. And this will provide, hopefully, some drama like we saw last time out last year. We had one of our closest finishes. Let's not forget, push to pass cannot be used for these drivers in this qualifying session then. The drivers are not allowed to use push to pass. There is no lapse of activation. It is pure work from the drivers in this one. As the safety car then just slowing down a little bit, being allowed to catch the rest of the pack, allowing the pack to catch back up. And you see the drivers now as they head into the final couple of corners of this lap. They are just searching for that final bit of tyre preparation, getting the tyres in the right window and in the right slot to be ready to go, because it is a long run out that final corner down to turn 1. In fact, it's a 1.141 kilometre straight in which the drivers have got to get down. So a good chance of slipstream down this straight into turn 1. As the safety car approaches the final corner now, the leader, Mohamed Ramzi, takes over from the safety car. He's going to peel into the pits anytime now. And we are about to go racing, and I reckon Mohamed Ramzi has already decided to go straight away because he's left a few of the cars in his dust. He's already got a second lead over the rest of the pack as drivers now start to make moves in our racing laps, our guarded laps, if you will. And it is Mohamed Ramzi from Rivoli in second place. Stanik's already got ahead of Hatsky for third. Apologies. Yannick Pletcher is then at the back of the pack. Chris Hatsky at the front of the grid then. First time with us. He's only just made it in time. Trains was running late apparently, so he's just been able to make it in time for this knockout session. Here he is currently P4. Stanik's got past him. He's got Morato behind him now as they come through towards the Arabiatas for the first time at racing speed. You're not going to make any moves here, but it's a good chance to get a good run down this short straight. A little light there from Hatsky. That's compromised his run. Has to defend the inside line and does well. Down the back, Walter Troninger's dropped down to 18th place. Not sure what's happened there, but Yannick Pletcher and co move up a few places as well. Here comes Hatsky in towards the end of his first lap. Oh, and there's a spinner in the background. We just one of the green cars, it looks like, then has had a moat. Just looking at who's dropping down the list, I think it was Donny then. In fact, it was. Down the order goes Yannick Pletcher and co make more places due to another driver's mistake. All bunched up as they come to start straight. Mohamed Ramzi sets the fastest lap of this knockout section so far. Excuse me. Here is Hatz, and he's just been overtaken by Morato there. Unai Morato, our 13-year-old driver in Spain. Our youngest driver on the grid. He's making moves, and he's up to P4. He's got 2.5 seconds to catch up to Stanik in third at the moment. Andreas now behind Hatsky. Thomas Herzog right with Koch as well. Obviously, you remember Thomas Herzog was with us during our rush hour programme last week. Iron Man, as we called him. Well, what could Thomas do here? He's right on the back of Andreas Koch, just behind Hatsky here. Here, though, is Nico Font. He's lost out to Yannick Pletcher down the order then, as Yannick's got a couple of cars just in front of him that he's trying to get on the back of. One is Borja Zarzo then. Rock Mertzel as well, trying to make his way through the pack. Just all in a little bit of a train at the moment as they come through the S's. Left, right, constant change of direction in the cockpit in the car today. As Mohamed Ramzi very wide. No, sorry, he's on the fastest lap. That was Nico Forland, apology, who was very wide. It come up Mohamed Ramzi on the bottom, fastest lap at the session, and Nico Forland very wide at the final corner. That has dropped him down to 17th place. On board with Borja Zarzo now, who's got Yannick Pletcher attacking the back of him. And now we start to lose the bottom two drivers. At the minute, Walter Troninger and Nico Forland, drivers at risk of being eliminated here. Oh, who's that? I believe that Hatsky has tumbled down the order and has now become a little bit betrayed, and that's Borja Zarzo who's off and round into the wall hard. And has that just put an end to Borja Zarzo's knockout qualifying? I believe it may have done, because he's just got it going now. And Borja Zarzo, well, that could be his qualifying done. Not sure what happened there. Yannick Pletcher up to 12. He's got himself ahead of Rock Mertzel, Donny, as well as Hatsky. Mertzel's off himself. Well, Mertzel's now out of qualifying because to Troninger, it's coming towards his final couple of corners then. Ramzi's going to cross the line now. He's got a 4-second lead as Mohamed Ramzi. But for Borja Zarzo, it is only going to be provisional 18th place. And for Rock Mertzel, your race winner last time out, it is only going to be 17th. And that is an absolute shame. Borja Zarzo and Mertzel then both having a bit of a disastrous knockout qualifying session. Just hasn't really been right for Borja Zarzo since he won the prologue. Mertzel and Borja Zarzo, 17th and 18th place provisionally at the moment. Torlachi's got himself ahead of Luca Palmisano. That's why, because Luca Palmisano's now tumbling down the order. In fact, he has just been passed by Ski and by Troninger then. So Troninger has got himself past Luca Palmisano. What has happened to him? And Troninger looking to try and maybe just give himself an extra lap here of this knockout session by getting Patski is right on the rear wing of him. Hatski just making up sound. Now he's gone through the Arabiatas. He's off the track, deep off in the gravel. Hatski's gone from 3rd all the way down to 16th place. And you get the feeling that's where he's going to be qualifying. Right then, Walter, hang on to this 14th spot. You've got Palmisano right on the back of the RU23. But can you hang on for one more lap? As here is Hatski then, coming into the final part of the lap. I believe Troninger is going to hang on in over Luca Palmisano. And he is indeed. So Luca Palmisano is going to cross the line and is going to be starting a provisional 15th place. For Hatski, it's going to be 16th place for him. Walter Troninger then gets himself a lifeline here. Lorenzo Hayes dropped down the standings quite a bit. He had a moment, has he, somewhere. He's had a bit of an off as Troninger's now got past Lorenzo Hayes. So Troninger here had a moment early on in this race, but slowly picked off drivers who's made mistakes or been involved in incidents then. And Lorenzo Hayder here, down in 14th provisionally, and it looks like it's going to stay that way with just over a whole lap to go. He's not only got to get past Troninger, but he's got to get past Torlachi as well. Who is just too far out in front. So for Lorenzo Hayder, another session he would have wanted. His knockout qualifying return, provisional 14th place. It looks like Mohamed Ramsey is pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap here. And Walter Troninger then is going to come across the line in a few moments to be provisional 13th. So he's gained a few places here. And it will be 13th place for him. It will be P14 for Lorenzo Hayder. 6.3 seconds out front at the moment. Is this man, Mohamed Ramsey, absolutely flying out front at the moment. As Schlegel has dropped himself down to P13. I imagine P12 as he'll probably come back ahead of Troninger. There he is, look. So Schlegel has now had a mistake himself. He's some 9 seconds off the back. Torlachi. But for Schlegel there, that essentially is knockout done and potentially P12. 9 seconds, a big gap to close, and there's not a lot happening. What has happened to Morotto? I believe he's had a moment. No, it's Stanek. Sorry, dropping down the order on the leaderboards now. Morotto as well has dropped down the leaderboard, so Torlachi's up to 10th. And Morotto, you see there in the background, 2 seconds to the back, but for Unai Morotto, it looks like it's going to be a P11 for the young 13-year-old. So a mistake at the final lap of this knockout session for him. And I'll tell you what, Mohamed Ramsey pumps in another fastest lap here. He's just getting quicker and quicker as this race goes on. Here comes Gustin Torlachi then to start yet another lap. Your championship leader's P7 at the moment. He's having a real good knockout session at the moment as Nico Forlan goes up to P8 ahead of Donny then. This all happening just in front of Torlachi. And Forlan through on Donny then. Torlachi's going to have Donny, but Donny sticks to his line and make sure he gets through. Right, lap 10. Bit closer battle here then for this bottom two to drop out a knockout. As Forlan comes through the S's down towards the Arabiatas now and gets it absolutely bang on. He's 1.2 behind Yannick Pletcher. Yannick Pletcher's 7 tenths off the back of Stanek, but them two don't need to worry at the moment. It's all about Donny and Torlachi so far. Robin Donny, 2 tenths off the back, 2 tenths ahead, of Torlachi, who is here for currently P10. Needs a good run out this final corner and to get that slipstream. He's got these S's here. Set yourself up for the final corner. He's not close enough. Can he get a little later on the brakes? Get a good run through here down the start straight. You're going to come. And it looks like Augustin Torlachi is going to line up P10. And for Robin Donny, it looks like it's going to be a P9 in the knockout session then. So we move to our next lap. Lap 9 we're on now. And we turn our attention now to Yannick Pletcher and Nico Forland, the two drivers who are now at risk. While Ramsey has checked out up front. 9 seconds in the lead of this session. Absolutely fantastic to see. Here is Rivoli second with Thomas currently third place. Then Andreas Koch and Gomez on the back of him for fourth and fifth. Bit of a gap back from Gomez to Stanek in sixth place, and Yannick Pletcher trying to hunt Stanek down, but Pletcher will be happy with a seventh place from all the way down in 18th, no doubt with that one. And Yannick Pletcher then just doesn't look like he's got anything else to give in the tank here. Looks like it's going to be P7 for him. Nico Holland's got a bit closer to Yannick Pletcher though, and Stanek's also brought the gap down towards Adrian Gomez. Through the S as they come towards the final corner now. And this then is going to be the end for Yannick Pletcher. P7 provisional for him, and it's going to be P8 provisional for Nico Farland. Then so 7th and 8th for the two that started in the back of this knockout qualifying session. We now look at 5th and 6th, Adrian Gomez and Mario Stanek then. Currently 6th and 5th. Stanek getting within that second mark of Gomez. And Gomez right on the back of Andreas Koch. 4P4. Ramsey and Rivoli out front have had a brilliant session. They have just left the others in their dust. Thomas Herzog started gap these three as well. Here Gomez. Looking back to Stanek. He was having a look and having a little think about it maybe there. In towards the Arabiat as they come now. Gomez 7/10 behind Koch. Stanek half a second behind. You see Stanek behind Adrian Gomez here. And you just get the feeling that it's too little too late for Stanek to get to do another lap here. Ramsey's crossed the line. Rivoli's out the final corner. Thomas Herzog's halfway through the final corner. And it looks like then, yep, it looks like Gomez is going to be lining up in P5. So a good knockout session for him, and Stanek looks like he's going to be starting in P6 then. Now Thomas Herzog and Andreas Koch at them with the next two to look at. Koch is 2.6 seconds behind Thomas Herzog. It's probably not going to happen. We had the closest qualifying here last year, if you remember back, with one of the Hayder brothers and Yannick Pletcher. Well, this could be one of the biggest qualifying gaps we've had. There's Mohamed Ramsey, 11.7 clear of Antonio Rivoli. Thomas Herzog, P3. And Andreas Koch through the second of the two Arabiatas. He can see Herzog just up in front. But 2.8 seconds, you imagine, is not going to be enough. Thomas Herzog as well for him. It's going to be P3 in this session. As Ramsey crosses the line once more. Not improving that time around. 12.6 seconds his gap to Rivoli though. Here comes Herzog and Koch. And it's going to be P3 for Thomas Herzog. It's going to be P4 for Andreas Koch in this one then. And that is a fantastic qualifying session for them two. Third and fourth from 8th and 7th on the grid. So all a provisional result, but that's good for them two. Rivoli now it's got to bring the car home. It's probably a guaranteed second place from here. So the top two did not change at all. And fantastic to see these two back in the car. Rivoli did a couple of races last year. Mohamed Ramsey, I think, did one, or the other way around. But Mohamed Ramsey here then is going to come to the final couple of corners. Right-hander here. In towards the right-left section. Or left-right. Final corner then for Mohamed Ramsey. The left-hander. Before getting that run, he's upped his gap to 13.4 seconds. And Mohamed Ramsey then is going to be your provisional pole setter. Don't see anything wrong with that. He did it from the start. He was gone on his own from the start. Absolutely fantastic for Mohamed Ramsey. Antonio Rivoli is going to, looks like he's going to take P2. And it is the Munich Lounge that have a little something to celebrate at the moment. They've not had much to celebrate all season, but they now finally look like they have. They've got a bit to celebrate in the fact that it is a 1-2 for them on the grid. Well done to Mohamed Ramsey at the moment. And we'll speak with our pole sitter when we have confirmation on that. But Mohamed Ramsey, a job well done there for him. and fantastic to see in that one then. He is your pole sitter. Not that you'd know it, because he still looks as calm as ever, just getting the laps in and getting around the track to make sure that he is awaiting that confirmation. But Munich, P1 provisionally at the moment. Mohamed Ramzi from Antonio Rivoli then in second place provisional. I didn't see anything wrong with that. He cruised away from the start. Great launch from himself on the safety car start. And then he just controlled his pace. And looks like he will be your pole sitter. The man from Egypt, Mohamed Ramzi, the man who looks like he's taken provisional pole. And a good crowd, a good support always in our Munich lounge. And some more of the drivers and family members there to cheer him on as he goes. Still concentrated on driving. Look, he's now, cockpit comes to a stop, and it's a high five from a few of the drivers in the lounge. Nico Farlan there. And I believe Sinan de Merbas as well with a high five. A few there from Sebastian Hirsch. And that is fantastic to see. Mohamed Ramzi, currently your pole sitter. We await confirmation on whether that will stay as P1 or not. Don't see anything wrong with that though. Mohamed Ramzi there, fantastic qualifying session for himself to take the P1 spot there then. So knockout done. Your 18 drivers who got to qualify in that one have been qualified, and race control now will take a look through and we'll set the grid order for the race. 2 positions we are 100% certain of. Marcus Valverde will start 19th. Excuse me, Joshua Hader will start P20 then in this session as we await confirmation of everything else from the guys upstairs and race control. I believe now we can speak though with Mohamed Ramzi. Mohamed, can you hear us?
Yep, loud and clear, Matthew. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. That looked pretty easy from yourself. That was a good knockout session.
Yeah, it was quite good. I'm still getting used to the sim because first time to drive in this one in specific, so that's why I was taking it a little bit easy. But yeah, good result after all.
It was the jump from the safety car that looked like sort of got you the gap at the beginning of that session, but then you kept pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, somehow you could say so, yeah.
Your race coming up a little later on. What can you do from the front of the grid? Is it obviously the standing start's a bit different this time? So what will be your procedure?
Yeah, just take it easy in the first few laps, of course, because of the cold tires, and then not make any unforced errors or mistakes. And yeah, let's just keep it clean as much as possible.
Well, it's great to see the support in the background as well, Mohamed. Congratulations. Good luck in the race a little later on.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
And a man there very, very happy with his P1, Mohamed Ramzi then. Your pole sitter in this one provisionally. We're still awaiting confirmation in our ears over the finalised grid, and I'm sure Race Control are going to bring us the results as soon as possible. But that knockout session then at Mugello is all wrapped up. Thomas Herzog gets himself a penalty. Andreas Koch will be P3 then in this one, so he will round out P3. P2 is Antonio Rivoli, and Mohamed Ramzi is now confirmed as P1. Excuse me. So that then is confirmed. Your top 3, Mohamed Ramzi, Antonio Rivoli and Andreas Koch in this one. Then for the qualifying session, obviously that will be where they'll line up on the grid. We know 19th and 20th as well. Marcus Valverde and Joshua Hader will line up down there. A lot of work to do at the moment, though. You see our drivers from the back of the pack, Nico Farland and Yannick Pletcher, 7th and 8th provisional overall. That was a fantastic start for them and a fantastic chance for them to be where they are on the grid, and maybe with other drivers potentially getting penalties, a chance for them to pop up the order a little bit as well. We'll be bringing you the rush hour in a few moments' time, where Fabio Vettiger will be joining me, and we'll be looking forward to taking a look at some of the replays, going through some incidents that we saw in the knockout qualifying session, and just going through. He's a busy man today because he's the man on the cameras as well. So he's the man to speak to about the camera work, and I'm sure it'll be fantastic, no doubt, in the race. And we'll speak with him about the replays we'll get to see a little later on. He is just getting ready to join us live on the screen as we get ready to go for our rush hour session coming up in a few moments' time then. So that will be me and Fabio once again bringing you all the action of the replays, and we'll get to look at some of the incidents that happened. We'll possibly get to look at the Thomas Herzog one and discuss why he lost that P3. And obviously we get to speak about Mohamed Ramzi and that fantastic session that he's just had where he took the P1 and absolutely dominated in that qualifying session. It was absolutely fantastic and brilliant to see there. There is a live action shot of our Zurich lounge in Kemptall. Christoph Holstein, the Racer League winner last time out, sat discussing with the Hayder brothers, maybe just discussing and chatting through what they can do and need to do in the race. Not the best of sessions for Lorenzo Hayder. He came down, he had a moment down in 14th place, and there is Joshua Hayder, all smiles. He's got to come from the back of the pack in this race to see what he can do. Christoph, obviously an experienced driver, is sat there and is ready to go in the Racer League tomorrow. He took the race win last time out at the Red Bull Ring. Just giving his words of wisdom and words of advice to the Hayder brothers. They see Rock Merzel in the background, Yannick Pletcher there in the light blue. Just discussing with Thomas Herzog and others over that session. It was a good session for the championship leader. It was a fantastic session in which he was P7 across the line and his potentially got the chance of moving up the order a little bit in this session. Then we'll see the final classification in a few moments' time when Race Control have had a look at everything through the list. And we are joined then by Fabio. Fabio, welcome once again.
Thank you very much, Matthew.
Good to be here again.
Yeah, actually, I just came back from my duty. I was in the Swiss Army for 2 weeks, so happy to be here and talk about racing.
So busy man in the army, busy man upstairs doing the camera work, and a busy man now to talk racing and talk through the replays that we'll possibly get in a moment's time of a few incidents. But Mohamed Ramzi in that knockout session, what a qualifying for him.
Yeah, he was on a flyer, definitely. He was actually practicing a lot. He wanted to take part in in race 2 actually, but unfortunately some work came up for him. So I'm happy to see him today, and obviously he just delivered. I mean, flawless. I mean, I didn't see much of his race, but he was just gone. Yeah.
Now, Munich in the Challenge League haven't had a lot to talk about at the moment. Yeah. They've seemed to be second best, and we've not seen them as much in the Race League as well at the front of the pack. So the fact they've now got a pole position to their name, something to smile about in the Munich lounge and something to cheer about, and maybe take that 1-2 into a 1-2 race win.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited for the race. I'm very excited for Ramzi that he's up there. Antonio is not far away either. So, yeah, let's see if Pletcher and the others can catch up.
Yeah, an interesting session for Yannick Pletcher. P7 provisionally from 18th on the grid. That's not a bad session for Yannick. He's in the top 10. He's in the points ready for the start of his race. So he's got a chance now to get a good start. Maybe a couple of laps to see where the pace is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, for Yannick, it couldn't have gone any better because we have Valverde, who was sitting out there, a knockout ban. Also, Joshua Hayder, so two of the biggest competitors in the championship, actually. So, as he said in the interview with you in the Gear Up, he will try to take it slow a bit. I mean, I'm not actually buying that, but race car drivers will always go quick, but maybe he will manage, risks and don't do any dive bombs and whatsoever. So, yeah, for him it went well. Let's see if he can transfer it in the race as well.
Yeah, not the session, though, for Lorenzo Hayder, down in 14th place. We saw Borja Zarzo down in 18th. Rock Merzel, our winner from Red Bull Ring, down in 17th place. Not the session, like you say, for the guys around Yannick Pletcher, for Yannick and Nico Farland. They'll be thrilled that these guys are down the order in the qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes, you have those days where it just doesn't go according to plan. Rock had a day like this today, maybe also Lorenzo. It's going to be interesting how they will cope with that. They know for sure they need to come up the ranks quite quickly because Yannick otherwise would be, will go towards the podium.
Indeed, he will. Walter Troninger, obviously one of our older competitors here at Racing Unleashed, seemed to have a moment and then pass everybody through. This is Robin Dunny, though. We can take a look at this replay now. Coming through what looks just after the Arabiatas then.
No, he loses it, yeah.
Mid-corner snap.
Yeah, that must have been like lap 1 or 2, and this is very sad for him actually, because it's so early in the race and you lose it already in lap 1. Definitely his mistake, but nobody else got harmed in this scene. But yeah, very unfortunate.
Just didn't want
Robin.
to grip turning into the corner there from.
Yeah.
That demoted Robin Donny all the way down the order. He'd had a couple of moments. That demoted him down to 9th place overall. So still inside that top 10. It's not the worst for him, but could have been a bit better. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, Robin has the pace. I saw him in the lounge recently. So maybe a bit nervous in the beginning, because last time round we had a similar situation where he actually made a mistake and he fell down the orders. But yeah, let's see what Chris actually did here.
Yeah, Chris obviously new to Racing Unleashed, first time out. He turned up a little late and was only pretty much chucked in the car just before knockout. Just that little twitch on the exit there.
Little snap coming out of the chicane basically, and then. Yeah, losing a lot of momentum. The guys getting past. Maybe you get also a bit of you get nervous a bit because the guys are just flying past you and you don't want to hit anyone. So but what he did a great job here. Just keeping up with the guys in front. Sometimes you do mistakes. It's his first race, so nobody blames him. So he stuck with it. But later on, unfortunately, he had some more mistakes.
He had some more mistakes. Down in 16th place provisionally overall. But it was track time for Chris that meant that he's just got a bit more laps under his belt in the simulator to get used to the conditions that he's facing for what is going to be a long race later on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Chris, according to his Instagram, it was like 1.5 hours of training, and he managed to qualify for this challenge. And as you could see on the pre-qualifying times, the field is very bunched up, so it's only 1.3 seconds between first and last one. So it's very close. For Chris, it's just getting his head down, getting those laps in, and then I'm sure he will be up there.
And obviously, train delays and public transport not getting him here on time, just kind of not getting him, allowing him to get into the zone. Here's Robin Donny again then. Donny, this looks like it's through Arrabbiata 2, and he's just following the slipstream there. There was a car rejoining on the inside and just misses his brakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clear case here, unfortunately for Robin, and I know he has already had 15 points on his roster actually, so I don't believe this was lap 1, so it's not double points, but he will be up there with like 15 penalty points, so he needs to be careful in the race, actually, so that he doesn't get a knockout ban.
Indeed, he does. Obviously, he'll have that chance to, in the race, have a clean race and lose a couple of penalty points, hopefully, to his name. But he's done well to avoid that. Obviously, the car on that left-hand side, it's not rejoined in their path, and it was Merzel that he actually spins around. Obviously, our race winner from last time. That's put him in the position of getting eliminated effectively. Look, waits for the other cars to come through so he doesn't have an unsafe rejoin.
Yeah, very well done from him to wait for the cars to go by, but very unfortunate as his race was, or his knockout basically was ended there by Robin Donny. Let's see how he reacts to that. I mean, he's used in the last race to start in the front, like Ramsey at the moment. Yeah. So this will be interesting.
It will be interesting. Like you say, Robin Donny on my notes here, 15 penalty points to his name. Yep. That could possibly be the 5 that gives him that knockout ban, but a chance to lose them points in the race. Thomas Herzog here then. This is why he's lost P3. He's already been penalised for this, we've been told by our director. Thomas Herzog then, P3 taken away for him. Is this why? Because he's coming down the start straight. Good bit of slipstream there, look. Pulls to the outside line. So far, so
side
good.
By side.
Yeah, from Ironman.
Still must be here, probably. Yeah.
Just comes across him a little bit.
Well, he kept it very well, actually. I mean, I would have expected him to spin out here, but good for him. But why did he lose P3 then? I mean, he was already in P3. Let's see how Luca did here.
This is Luca Palmisano.
Obviously defending on the inside.
It was good to see them side by side for so long here.
Yeah, that's very good racing, actually. I mean, they kept it clean for like 2 or 3 corners.
Round the outside, Palmisano still there. Thomas just comes across a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's such a tricky one, I tell you. I mean, if you're in the cockpit, and I'm sure Thomas thought that's his corner, and that Luca would, back off. But Luca was still there because he actually, he has a right to be there because none of the cars is actually way in front.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah. More than half a car up.
Yeah,
up
exactly.
the
So
inside
they're
as
actually
well.
still side by side. So maybe Thomas, should have left a bit more of a gap there.
This is Thomas's point of view once again then. And it's great driving for the first 2 corners. And as you see, look, Palmisano just gets a bit of a better run. And just comes across him. As we slow it down a little bit there, it just looks like Thomas.
So, am I right? Thomas got penalized,
Thomas
right?
got penalised, yeah.
Thomas, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's I was just thinking, I was the other
Demoted
way around.
from
So yeah,
P3.
definitely. So yeah, Thomas should have left more space because Luca was already there.
Could have been a fantastic move, that side by side through 3 corners.
Yeah, and it could have gone forever,
Yeah.
because there were some other chicanes coming up. So, yeah, a bit of a pity for Thomas, but he's super quick on this track actually. So, yeah, let's see where he ends up.
Let's see where he ends up. Just before we get another replay up, Marcus Valverde and Joshua Hader, we said in the pre-build up to the programme that Joshua Hader, joint quickest man in qualifying for this event with Yannick Pletcher. He comes from 20th on the grid. What can they do in the race? Because they've got a lot of pace within 3/10 of each other in pre-qualification. So they've got a lot to do from coming from the back, but also a point of, yes, you're fast, but you can't make contact because it could be a full weekend ban.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those guys need to be careful now. Last time we saw with the guys who had a knockout ban that they're actually driving cleanly, so they had no penalty points coming up for them in the next event, being either knockout or the race. So for them, it's just about have a clean one this time round. Try to overtake as many people as possible. They have pushed the pass to their help. But still, Mugello is not known for, a lot of overtaking. So possibly the best thing is just to wait until, a start-finish straight. And then maybe, have luck with good slipstreaming. Maybe use push to pass, but it's going to be very strategic.
Now, we've been developing the car over the last 2 weeks as much as we can since the Red Bull Ring. The push to pass seems a little more effective for Mugello. Just talk us through a little bit of that.
Yeah, definitely. Our guys had a little look into it, and last time round it was too weak. We have to admit that. This time round it should get the drivers. I would say a maximum of half a second in lap time. So this should definitely help in overtaking. Should be like 10 or 15k of an advantage. But still, I mean, the straight is long. You can activate it 8 times, and it's activated for 8 seconds. So it's going to be interesting how they will actually use it. If they use it only on the start-finish straight or somewhere else, who knows?
Yeah, somewhere else as well. We've got one more replay that we're going to bring you just now. Look, here we go. Here is Robin Doney again here. 3 wide, out the final corner and down the start straight. Look at that little battle going on in front. And they go side by side, and Robin here picks up a fantastic slipstream, and, well, there's a big gap in the middle.
Will this end well?
Well, 3 into 1 doesn't normally work, they say. Oh, Robin!
I'm wondering if race control will say here Robin didn't leave enough space.
Yeah. 3 into 1. Nearly worked. Nearly worked.
It could have worked, actually, if they left space.
Yeah, did Robin just kind of push the car on that left-hand side out a little too far wide? He got on the grass and went straight on.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could take one more look at this. It was Yannick Pletcher and Fabio Schlegel here then. So it's Fabio who is the man who gets pushed out wide. And big, wide open space. Yannick actually taken to some of that cut-off area between the pit lane as well. Yeah, just forces him a little wide there, doesn't it?
Yeah. And if he gets penalized for that one and for the scene that we saw before, that would mean he has 10 penalty points extra to his 15.
Yeah.
So he's at 25. So there is no way that he can recover in the race.
No way that he can recover in the race. But also kind of puts himself in a dangerous position that if he gets some more penalty points in the race, that 40 mark is fast approaching them because he'll be on 25.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't matter how many penalty points he actually gets. He can have like 50 in one weekend. We do actually let's say the final check at the end of the race. So potentially he could actually save him some penalty points by having a clean race, but it's only -3 penalty points in the end. So, and after that we just, do the calculation, how many points does a driver have? Is it more than 20? Is it less than 20? So if it's more than 20, he has a knockout ban, right?
Yeah.
And after he has served his penalty, it will be, he will have, it will be reset to 0 basically, and then for the next 20 points, that would be his
race ban.
Yeah.
He's got to be a careful man, and like you say, if that is 2 times he gets found guilty, that's pretty much a knockout ban for him at Imola, which can be a tricky circuit to get past people as well. So
definitely
not the place he'd want a knockout ban there. No. Either way, he's got to now move on quickly into this race and get rid of the bad omens he's just had and what we've just seen from him. He's got to now refresh, reset, and go again. Here are the penalty points, Fabio. So a 2-place grid penalty will give him 5. A 4-place grid penalty will give you 10. A 6-place grid penalty will give you 15. First lap incidents, I believe they're doubled.
Double, yeah.
So, first lap you get 2 grid penalties. That's 10 points to your name. So difficult decision there. In the race, 5-second time penalty gets you 5 points. 10 gets you 10 points. And a 15-second time penalty gets you 15 penalty points. Again, double on the first lap. Yep. So a lot of penalty points on offer for the drivers that they've got to be careful of and be aware of in this race.
Yeah, definitely. As we talked last time around, the penalty points are there, to calm the drivers down, because we don't have damage in place at the moment. So we don't want, the dirty racing. We just want clean and fair racing. And this is why we have the penalty points system in place. And here you see actually, the roster at the moment in the Challenger League. We have Marcos, obviously, who was banned for the knockout, as was Joshua. Roberto Miguez wasn't actually taking part. He wasn't taking part in this challenge because he didn't qualify, actually. So, this is going to be something that drivers need to have on their radar.
You see there as well, Unai Morotto, 7 points, couple for him, and he's all of a sudden looking at a knockout ban. Mario Stanek as well, he's on 10. Bottom end of the list, you see the likes of Yannick Pletcher and Augusti Torlacci, 5 apiece for them. Thomas Herzog, 2 for him. He's got a penalty we know of. Saddle had a couple to his tally at the moment. 2's kind of not in that zone where he's looking at a ban, but he's now added to his penalty points. This is what we say: you have a clean knockout, you lose 2 points. So if Yannick Pletcher could be down to 3 points after knockout, and if he has a clean race, he could be back to 0.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where we involve the drivers, because we wanted to reward them for clean racing, and this is where we asked them, okay, if you have a clean knockout or race, how many points do you want deducted? And we actually wanted to do 5. The driver said, okay, no, let's do 2 and 3. Yeah. So, I'm not saying they're digging their own grave at the moment, because we had many bans since the season start, but they have it in their own hands or in their own steering wheel, basically, to, get rewarded for clean racing.
And we've seen 3 bans today. Obviously, Roberto Miguez will take his when he next qualifies. Yep. We see 2 bans tomorrow for 2 drivers. Yep. We had a couple last week. We had Wojciech Plezny last time out at Red Bull Ring. We had Lorenzo Hayder last time out as well in the Challenge League. Are we hoping to see these bans become less as the season goes on, with drivers learning and thinking, hang on a moment? Or that's the plan going forward?
That's definitely the plan, yeah. I mean, as of now, it worked for the guys who were banned. So let's see for Joshua and Marcos, when they come back today for the race, how that works out. Because they have, the full field in front of them. So it's not going to be easy. Maybe drivers are a bit inexperienced, because it's very hard in the simulator to actually, have this spatial awareness of, okay, where is the car now? We do have some errors in game, that show them where the car is, and we have the rear mirror. But it's still hard to really, judge, okay, is he now only half a car's length behind me or even more? So it's tricky, but, the drivers have this in mind. There are bans in the air, so they need to be careful.
Yeah, and I suppose we're looking at more the drivers who make the overtakes, who's had these bans or are on these penalty points. They're the ones that have to sit there and think, is this move on? Can I make this move stick? Or am I going to make contact and I'm going to get the blame? And, these guys have to think a little bit. It's not just the car defending, it's the car attacking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all about risk management in the end, right? As a driver, if you have already some penalty points on your roster, probably it's not the best idea to do a dive bomb and risk it all,
Yeah.
For the drivers who have less points or no points at all, sometimes it can take a bit more of a risk, but still, they will be penalized if it doesn't work.
Risk reward, as they say.
Yeah,
Risk and reward,
exactly.
as they say. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, still here in our Rush Hour programme, where we're going to talk about Mugello last year and what a knockout session it was. It was the first race that I did for Racing Unleashed on commentary as well, so it was a bit of like coming back home, if you will.
Yeah.
Yannick Pletcher took his first pole position in the knockout last year, and it was a fantastic session between him and one of the Hayder brothers. Can't remember which one. I think it was 600ths of a second separated them in knockout.
It was Lorenzo, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly so. 600ths of a second in that knockout. This was the race, though, and it was Yannick Pletcher. Let's take a look.
Green and go here at Mugello, and it's a decent start from Yannick Pleister. A great start, though, from P4 on the grid, who looks like he's got away well. Just over the brow of the hill, they're 4-3 abreast now, and Yannick Pleister has a car up the inside, and that may lose in the lead. He hangs on to it, though, through turn 1, and that is Nico Farland, who is trying to fight for him. Yannick Pleister up the inside into turn 2 and turn 3. It's gone a bit wrong, he's wide, and that has put Farland into the lead of this race. Nico Farland there already pulling away, breaking that toe, so that Hayder can't get on the back of him and use the slipstream. Now he chooses to dive into that slipstream. A couple of tenths quicker on the last lap. Does he think about it into turn 1? No, but look at the closing speed under the brakes there for Lorenzo Hayder. Oh, and a bit of a wiggle on the exit of turn 1. And that has ended that at the moment. Has to carefully rejoin. That is Joshua Hayder, who has had a moment and is off into the gravel, into the wall. Facing the wrong way, has to spin it around. And you can hear the frustration here in Kempt Hall through the final corner. Bit deep in turning entry, but makes that late apex. Now, did he pick up the throttle before Herzog in that slipstream? They head down to turn 1. He's going to slowly be pulling Herzog in front. You see that car getting bigger and bigger. Herzog's made his one move to the left. Is that the right thing to do? Has Hayder here up the inside, and as easy as you like, an invitation from Herzog there to Hayder. Once again, and Fry has got up the inside of Pleister. No, he hasn't. Pleister holding that inside line. Does that bring Demerbas and Valverde into play here? No, it doesn't, because they're having their own little squabble in the background. And Pleister here, again, just parking it exactly where he needs to do, doing the job he needs to do. David Seed on the back of Valverde, on the back of Fry, on the back of Pleister. Once again, and David Seed, a rare mistake. And Marcus Valverde having a look at Mikael Fry, who's having a look at Pleister, and Valverde up the inside will be the outside of turn 2. Can he keep it pinned there? Being forced onto the grass, and they make contact, and round goes Mikael Fry, manages to keep it together. Did he get a bit of a correction from Valverde, who's put himself off? And Lorenzo Hayder has only a few corners left to get this job done. 0.4 of a second, and we saw what he did in that knockout qualifying earlier on. He doesn't want to do the same in this race through the left-right section. Here we go then to the final corner for the final time in the Challenger League race here at Mugello, and Farland a little wide on entry. That gives Hayder a great opportunity to have a run. Not the exit he would have wanted there. He loses a couple of hundreds, and it's gonna be Nico Farland who takes the checkered flag in P1 from Lorenzo Hayder. Pressure at the end, and as you can see, Nico Farland, a very, very happy man. But for Lorenzo Hayder, frustration. There you see a very happy Yannick Pleister getting his medal for P3. And here then is Lorenzo Hayder, and you can still see the disappointment. A round of applause here in Kempt Hall for Lorenzo Hayder. Nico Farland, the top step of the podium, who will receive a handshake and his medal as well. Your final classifications: Nico Farland, Lorenzo Hayder and Yannick Pleister on the podium. David Seed, Michael Fry and Michael Farland with penalties.
This is Racing Unleashed, Beyond the Pinnacle.
And that then was a look back at Mugello last year. And it's still nice to know that a year on and we're still getting people's names wrong.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I know that it was your first time because it was the time when you said Pleister instead of Pletcher.
Yeah. We're still doing it. For Versick, it was the other week, wasn't it?
For Versick, Waversick, he said.
Good to see a year on we're still making the same mistakes as we did last year. It's a shame Michael Waversick hasn't been back yet because I've been practicing that name and he's not been able to qualify since Mugello last year. Then it was, you heard the screams of Lorenzo Hayder there in the background. It's just a man that wears his heart on his sleeve and really shows his emotion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a good thing. You know, drivers will have emotions. You have the calm ones. You have the ones that are a bit more loud in the end. But it just shows that they care. They care about Racing Unleashed. They care about the competition. They really want to, you know, excel and have success here. So this is what I love. It's all about emotions. Obviously, it shouldn't get out of hand or anything, but still, it's nice to see.
Speaking of the Hayder brothers, there they are currently in our Zurich Kempthal lounge. Joshua there, who disappointing qualifying for himself. He'll obviously want to go again in the race, and we'll see what he can do. But
Lorenzo, actually.
Lorenzo, apologies. But it was, excuse me, Yannick Pletcher, who, first race weekend for him, he got himself a pole position, he got himself a podium. It was great to see that even the new guys come in. We've seen with Rock Merzel this year, at the Red Bull Ring, come in, take that knockout qualifying pole position and back it up in the race.
Yeah, that's let's say the good thing about our format, right? So if you're a new one, as a newcomer basically, and you want to come into our championship, you will start the knockout from the front. It's not necessarily pole position. It depends if other drivers are new to the competition. Yeah. So then we would just, you know, give the places randomly to them amongst those who are newcomers. So there's a good chance that in the first race, if you have the speed, you can actually, you know, end up on the podium or either win it.
Well, we saw today with Mohammed Ramsey, you know, got put on that pole position at the random draw between the three drivers. We saw last time with Rock Merzel, got put, you know, front two at Red Bull Ring. They both took a pole position. Yannick Pletcher did the same thing at Mugello last time out, last year. And it converts so far. Yannick Pletcher's got a third place last year on his first race. Rock Merzel won the race, crossed the line third, still on the podium, but won the race outright. So it all bodes well for Mohammed Ramsey today then in terms of the race. Fabio, who is your money on for the race?
My winner?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, last time I won actually that bet.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
So where's that jar of money that we need to put here? Yeah, my total favorite for today is Mohammed Ramsey. He is on, he's just on a flyer and he will take it.
You heard it here first. Welcome back then. Red Bull Ring last time out. We saw a fantastic battle between Nico Farland, Rock Merzel and Yannick Pletcher at the front. Small bit of contact, flipped the result on its head. But let's take a look at what happened last time out at the Red Bull Ring.
And it is green and go for the Challenger League round 2 at the Red Bull Ring. It's a good start from Rock already, who's got a decent lead and is able to tuck into the racing line. Everybody bunched out as they come through turn 1. A few cars side by side, running wide to avoid collisions there. A few drivers in the background. Push to pass activated, 8 laps for everybody to use then. And it's Rock Merzel already, who's got himself nearly a second lead. He's used a bit of push to pass. And here comes Yannick Pletcher, not used a lap at the moment. Torlashi's used 2. All contact from Pletcher on Torlashi. And Yannick makes the move stick. For Yannick, here's Valverde having a look at Stanek. Up the inside into 2, has to avoid the car in front, which I do believe was Gianluca Palmisano. Troninger up the inside. Easy as you like, gets it stopped on the apex part perfectly. Just proving that age is just a number and talent is what you need in these cars. There is Roberto Miguez on the outside of Borges Arzo. That is job done for Roberto Miguez. Yannick Pletcher in front as well has got himself past Donny, and that into turn 3. Donny trying to go around the outside of Yannick Pletcher. Borges Arzo trying to go around the outside of Miguez. Contact between Zarzo and Miguez, and that means Zarzo just runs into the gravel a little bit, loses all momentum. Yannick Pletcher uses up his final push to pass. Down to Nico Farland. Here comes Borges Arzo though. He's having a look on Miguez then, and Miguez trying to have a look on
Donny and taps the back of Donny there as Borges also made a great move up the inside. Miguez taps the back of Donny, now gets that better run because of Donny having to spin the rear wheels up, and Miguez uses push to pass. He's going to have a look at Borges also round the outside of turn 3. He can't get it done surely. Now he's dipped 2 wheels in the gravel, and that meant Donny just clipped the back of him and gets that place back. It's on the left hand side of your screen is the Miguez Donny battle. Torlashi and Valverde. Miguez in the gravel loses all momentum into the second left-hander. He has a bit of a snap mid-corner, and now this gives Donny the chance to look up the inside into the penultimate corner. They wheel bang. Valverde's there, Torlashi's there. Oh, Valverde nearly into the back of Torlashi. Here comes Valverde up the inside of Torlashi into turn 1. I think they've got it done. He has. Great move, Valverde. Forland was having a look on Merzel as well. He did get ahead for a brief second as well. In the background though, Valverde coming back under pressure from Torlashi around the outside. That is Donny wide, and Miguez lights up the rear wheels, and round he goes all on his own. Yannick Pletch is now 1.4 off the back of these two. And Forland, is he going to have a look into turn 2? He's going to lick the stamp and send it. Yes, he does, on the inside, but doesn't get the momentum out of the corner, doesn't get the traction, and Merzel somehow keeps hold of this race lead. There's Yannick Pletcher. It's under a second to him and Forland now, so it's 3 for the lead. Lap 19 of 26. Merzel covers early to defend that inside line. He knows Forland is likely to have a look at a lunge. Does he think of doing it into turn 3? He's close enough. He pulls out now, has a look, sticks his nose up the inside, gives the room on the outside. Great respect from both drivers, and Forland still can't get it done. Into turn 4, he's going to try the long way round. Bit of a tap on the rear. Oh, it's all gone wrong. It's all gone wrong for Merzel. Down from first to third. Forland has tapped him round at turn 4, and Yannick Pletcher, he must think it's Christmas because he now leads this race. Push to pass, here comes Miguez on Donny then. Donny tries to close the door, there's a car there. You can't go any more right if you tried. Miguez still trying to come at him into turn 2. Later on the brakes is Donny, but runs deep himself. Gets a good bit of traction out of the corner though. Now tries to slam the door shut. Here comes Miguez once again. Donny this time gives him the room on that right hand side. And Miguez now uses his last tap of push to pass, and Donny across the front of Miguez. Keep your car still. He has done. But here comes your winner. It is Yannick Pletcher. 2 from 2 for him. There's the smile. There's the emotion. The race is done. There's the emotion. It's a 5-second penalty for Yannick Pletcher and a 5-second penalty for Nico Forland. So, the Rock Merzel will take not only qualifying pole position, he takes the race win as well. Rock is your race winner. Yannick Pletcher, P2. Nico Forland, P3. 5-second penalty for Nico Forland. He's going to take that P3 step on the podium. Keeps his podium at the end of the day. P3 can be very happy with that because he had a very, very good race and a P3 medal around his neck. Thumbs up, high fives. He's not number 1 this week, but he's still number 2. He'll still lead the championship. And Yannick Pletcher makes it first and second in the first 2 races in the Challenger League. P1 in qualifying, P1 in the race. He's been number 1 all day. The Rock has tamed the bull.
This is Racing Unleashed, Beyond the Pinnacle.
And that is what happened a few weeks ago at the Red Bull Ring. And Fabio, we saw there plenty of overtakes, but plenty of drama as well.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to commentate on that? The drivers know what they did wrong. Actually, there weren't many complaints of, of the decisions of race control, so they knew they made a mistake. They actually have enough time to report, other incidents that were not seen by race control. Plus, after the final results are out, they have time until tomorrow, 12 o'clock, to protest their decisions.
Great battle at the end. Nico Forland, Rock Merzel and Yannick Pletcher as well, who went 3 for the lead at it. And it was a great fight between them 3, just for one little bit of contact to kind of ruin that little battle at the end.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but still it's nice to see that we have those battles actually, This is what we wanted with, the format changing a bit, We had, in the previous years, we had allocated numbers of seats basically per lounge, so that drivers, who are, in the top 2 or top 3 of that particular lounge will qualify. Now we just have basically the top 20 drivers, doesn't matter where they are. There are some limitations in place because we have only 5 seats, for example, in Madrid. We have 9 seats in Kemptthal, we have 9 seats in Munich, and we have 4 seats in Cham. So obviously we have a max number, but still if you're in the top 20 and the lounge isn't full yet, you qualify.
Indeed, you do. Now, just being told in our ear that Yannick Pletcher, a 2-place grid penalty for him. So from 7th place, he'll drop to P9. Thomas Herzog, as we know, 2-place grid penalty for him. We knew he'd been demoted from 3rd, so it's 3rd to 5th. And Robin Donny as well, 2 places to his name. That'll take him from 9th to 11th. So Yannick Pletcher, a few points on his name. That's 5 points to his name there, as well as the 2 he's already got. That's putting him on 7. He's got to be a little careful in the race now.
He's still fine. I know. I mean, Yannick is a smart guy. He will drive for the championship actually to win this. Yeah. You know. So his ultimate goal will be, you know, get as much points as possible. But I'm sure he will, you know, target for the podium actually.
7th to 9th then for him. At the moment, obviously, other results are still being worked out. We're going to bring you the final classification very soon. Let's take a look then at a track preview here at Mugello then. Let's take a look through it and see what we have in store for you in a few moments' time. But Yannick Pletcher, 7th to 9th, while we just await this track preview. 7th to 9th in. Mugello then, home of Ferrari. And what it's circuit is 5.245 kilometres in length, 6 left-handers and 9 right-handers as well. 665 metres from the start to turn 1, so 665 metres for Mohamed Ramsey from P1 to turn 1. And Fabio, in this track preview, it's a good. You need a good launch to get off the line down to turn 1 here.
Yeah, you need one because you can actually slipstream the car in front of you towards turn 1, especially if you activate push to pass. You know you already have it in from lap 1, so who knows, maybe they do a Pletcher in challenge 1 like he did, first lap, first corner, and he got by.
Indeed.
So welcome to Mugello, Italy, one of the more beautiful skits on the calendar this year. Fun fact, they have the curbstone painted in the Italian tricolore flag, one of the most identifying features of this awesome circuit. It's really fast, it's just over 5 kilometer length. It's an amazing mix of super high speed stress, long flowing corner, the downforce of cars really come into play, and crucially, some super high speed braking zones, just some slow hairpins. So these guys are really have to be on their A game. It'll be a close race. You guys are going to be around this circuit like a shot of fish. Be sure to tune in, it's a hell of a ride.
And James there finishing off our little track preview there. It's going to be one hell of a ride, he reckons.
Have you driven on that?
Yeah.
On Mugello?
Yeah.
Did you try it?
Last year.
Really?
Yeah.
And?
It's my first time in the simulator as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was hard.
Yeah, I mean, Mugello really, you need to get your apexes right because it's such a quick track. If you're too late, you're just gone, you know.
Left, right.
Yeah, definitely. But it's a super nice track. Haven't driven on it in real life actually, but I think my neck wouldn't thank me after that. It's very physical. Yeah, it's a very beautiful track. You know, also it goes up and down. The F1 drivers were actually, you know, full of praise of the Mugello circuit when they came back in the Corona years, I believe.
2020, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Mugello came on the Formula 1 calendar, and it did seem a popular hit with a lot of people. But it's also friendly for the bikes as well. We see the bikes go there quite a lot, and that's what it's mainly used for. And they seem to enjoy going to Mugello, and it looks a track that you could enjoy on a motorbike.
You can, yeah. I mean, the MotoGP and all those other categories, they deliver every single time there is a race there. For the F1 race, I can't really recall how it was. There was a big mass crash after a restart.
If I remember the safety car on the start line.
Yeah.
And
a big shunt.
I want to say Grosjean was involved.
Don't do it.
I want to say Grosjean was involved. And there was a big start line shunt off the safety car. If I remember right, Bottas was leading and was holding them as long as possible, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was waving. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just waving. But some guys in the mid pack, they thought, okay, it's a green light or it's just go time. And obviously, if you're in the back, you don't see that well. You just go if the other car in front of you goes. And then we had this, I don't know, mass collision of I don't know how many cars.
And it was a good race at Mugello. Obviously, 2020, we don't go there anymore in the Formula One. It was a fantastic to see it on the calendar for the first time. We've had it now for 2 years in a row. But speaking of tracks, we head to, we've discussed it before, but let's chat about it again. Laguna Seca, a new circuit. We talk about this one being up and down and twisty.
No.
We're going to Laguna Seca at the back end of the year. That's up and down.
Definitely. I mean, this is a roller coaster, and it's a very short track. It's actually the shortest track on the calendar, so there are many, many laps. Not many drivers like it, but I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm not sure how you do.
Well, we'll see what happens at Laguna Seca. But Fabio, thank you once again.
Thanks.
This is Racing Unleashed Beyond the Pinnacle.
And it is green and go. It's a good start from Rock already. They make contact. And look at this, look at this. The Rock has tamed the bull.
This is Racing Unleashed.
Welcome back then to Racing Unleashed, where we are on our new grid platform, if you will. We're here live on the grid at our live interactive studio. And to the right-hand side of me here, you see the drivers in their cockpits, in their simulators, ready to go for this race coming up in just a moment. We'll be able to bring you a word with a few of these drivers, as you see there. That is Marcus Valverde lining up P19. That is not his camera. That is Joshua Hader, in there. But the cameras tell you one story. The drivers' names on the bottom is the actual grid order that we see. So 19th place, Marcus Valverde. 20th place will be Joshua Hader. And you see just to the left then of the Valverde grid box, you see Borja Zarzo will be lining up in P18. We hope to be bringing you a bit of a word with some of these drivers on the grid as well here in our fantastic interactive studio. On the grid, we are being able to stud with these drivers, and it is fantastic to see, and it's fantastic what we do here at Racing Unleashed. Really is. It ups it another level, and what a chance to speak to these drivers. Pretty much, it's as if we're on the actual grid doing a nice driver interview, which we'll hope to bring you momentarily then. So Joshua Hader, P20, Marcus Valverde will be 19th place. You see Borja Zarzo, 18th, and this is fully classified, the full classified result then as we go into this race. Obviously, for Joshua Hader and Marcus Valverde, a knockout ban they've had to serve. They've now served that. They're ready to move on into this race. He looks ready to go, does Joshua Hader. He looks absolutely geared up and excited for this one then.
Definitely.
So let's, we can hear. Mohamed Ramsey then. Let's bring you the classification, the current lineup and standing so far. Mohamed Ramsey will be your provisional pole sitter with Antonio Rivoli P2. Andreas Koch P3. Adrian Gomez P4. Thomas Herzog 5th. Mario Stanek in P6. Nico Farland 7th. Yannick Pletcher down to 8th. Augustin Torlacci 9th. Robin Doney P10. And the second half of the grid, hopefully, will be coming momentarily then. So that then there is your top 10. 11th place for Unai Morato. Fabio Schlegel will be 12th. Walter Troninger, 13th place. Lorenzo Hader, 14th for him. Gianluca Palmisano will be 15th place. Chris Hatsky will be in 16th. Rock Merzel, 17th. Borja Zarzo, 18th place. Marcus Valverde down in 19th. And Joshua Hader rounds out the top 20. That is how they line up for this race. And we've seen Yannick Pletcher demoted down into 8th place at the end of that due to other penalties as well. He's got a lot of work to do from that 8th place. His championship rivals, bar Nico Forland, are all in that bottom section of the grid. For him and Nico Forland, it was 8th for Yannick Pletcher and I believe 6th for Nico Forland. They are the two that are leading this championship and that have all the work to do. They can pull away from their other rivals in this championship. For Forland, he's got to catch Pletcher in the points. Pletcher will just hope to score well today and keep himself out of trouble as they're getting ready for the race coming up in a few moments' time. Prize money, once again, and on your screen, 750 Swiss francs that the drivers today are competing for in this Challenger League, all the way down to 30 Swiss francs for a top 10 finish. 3,000 francs is the prize money for the season in the Challenger League, all the way down to £100 inside that top 10. That is what the drivers in this Challenger League are playing for. Obviously, the Racer League here, which we'll speak more about tomorrow, it's all about them numbers on that far side of the screen that these Challenger League drivers are really playing for today. And this is where they're really now, excuse me, going to start to focus and going to start to not worry about the money too much. It's about their driving, about the points they can score, and about what they can take away from this race today and move on into Imola. Points mean prizes. And if Yannick Pletcher and Nico Forland, currently the prize on offer is that top 2 spot in the championship standings. Good bit of prize money to take home in their back pocket if they stay there at the end of the season. With their rivals down the bottom end of the grid, it is a massive chance for excuse me, the front 2 to really pull away out front and score big over their competitors. And that is what they'll be hoping to do in the race momentarily, as they'll be all lining up on the grid and getting ready to go. They'll all be sat in their cockpits, fully focused, fully determined. It is a 21-lap race around this 15-corner circuit. Fantastic track here at Mugello. 21 laps they've got to get round, so it's going to be tight. And don't forget that all-important start straight. 1.141 kilometres in length from the exit of the final corner to the entry of turn 1. 1.141 kilometres. Push to pass could be absolutely effective down that straight. We've seen already in one of the replays in rush hour how effective the slipstream was down there to make it 3 wide. What can the push to pass do today? Is that the best overtaking opportunity? Is that the best opportunity to use the push to pass system? Well, there's the drivers on the grid, sat ready, waiting to go for this Challenger League Race 3. The revs rise though now, and we await the lights. But it will be soon. Green and go here for the Challenger League Race 3 of the season, and it is now green and go here in the Challenger League, and it's a good start from Mathew Ramsey out front, who already looks to get away well as they come down towards turn 1. Rivoli trying to go side by side with Ramsey into that first corner. They go side by side, and as everybody's bunched up coming through, it is Rivoli who I believe has taken that race lead away from Ramsey. Ramsey has actually kept hold of that one, apologies. So it's Ramsey, Rivoli, Gomez. Koch keeps P4. Yannick Pletcher, great start for him. He's already up to P5. He's used one of his push to pass. Nico Forland, he's gone backwards compared to his championship rival. He's dropped down to P9 in this race. Lorenzo Hayder's down to 20th spot. A few drivers off the start using that push to pass. Here is Antonio Rivoli then, who is now got to work hard to keep up with Mohamed Ramsey. Push to pass in full effect for these guys for the first time this season. And they've got an absolute massive job on their hands if you catch Ramsey in the lead, who's already got a second gap at the end of this first lap. Yannick Pletcher is tumbling down the standings. What has happened to Yannick? He's down in 18th place. It's gone horribly wrong for Yannick Pletcher. He's down to the back of the pack now and has got a lot of work to do. That's Fabio Schlegel as well, who's off the track. And Lorenzo Hayder here just steadily going about his business to try and pick up some places. Hatsky's gone off as well. He's now last. So Schlegel 19th. Yannick Pletcher's back up to 18th. But a lot of work now for the championship leader to do to get back into that top 10. Score himself a handful of points as well. He's on the back of Lorenzo Hayder using push to pass now down the start straight. Are we going to see it at full effect? Look at the closing speed for Yannick Pletcher. Bouncing off the limiter. Lorenzo defends and Yannick has to go to the outside. Does he make this one stick? Round the outside at turn 1. He's run a little wide. Lorenzo makes contact with Yannick there. Oh, there's a big off in front. Excuse me, that was Schlegel's had a moment. Joshua Hader's involved. Borgesazzo is in that. Truninger as well. And Yannick Pletcher finds himself from 18th place all the way up to 13th after a couple of corners on lap 2. Just on the edge of the points now. Nico Forland's back into 7th. Hanging on in there at the minute. Ramsey out front, 1.8 clear of Rivoli. Gomez 3rd. Torlachi's up to P4. Here's Thomas Herzog down in 6th. Just behind Andreas Koch. And ahead of Forland. He gets a much better run than Koch through there, and he's going to look up the inside at the final corner is Thomas Herzog, and that is a delightful move from the Swiss driver. And great momentum out that final corner. Here is Lorenzo Hader then. Torlachi, fastest lap of the race. By some distance over everybody else. Lorenzo Hader, Luca Palmisano and Yannick Pletcher behind, having a bit of a battle, and Pletcher gets himself through up into 12th place. Lorenzo Hader then on the back of Doney. And Doney in that final point scoring position at the moment. Lorenzo Hader now comes flying through on lap 3. And he's working hard through the left and right section once again here. Augustin Torlachi gaining on the back of Adrian Gomez and for the podium spot at the moment. So it's Munich, Munich, Madrid, Madrid in terms of the racing lounges and the position their cars are in. And this going very, very well. Here is Augustin Torlachi, our Argentinian driver. And what's happened to Mohamed Ramsey, in fact, because that's Ramsey just in front there. Rivoli's taken the lead. And I believe Ramsey was just in front of Gomez and Torlachi. We're on board with Mario Stanek at the moment, down in 15th place. On the back of Walter Troninger. Mohamed Ramsey then. What has happened? It was so good and so clean in knockout. A mistake here, though. So there is a chink in his armour. And it's Rivoli who leads. Here comes Torlachi on Gomez in the background. Side by side through turn 1. And I believe Gomez holds on to that P3. Yes, he does. Valverde goes ahead of Andreas Koch for P7 and 8. So Valverde climbing high into the points now. And Joshua Hader, massive wiggle through there as Yannick Pletcher gets through, but Hader gets a better run than Yannick Pletcher out the S's there side by side. A bit of a bump there from Lorenzo Hader and Yannick Pletcher, and Hader's off. He's got to be safe on a rejoin here, and it's nice and easy for Lorenzo Hader. But that has demoted him all the way down to 17th place. And Yannick Pletcher, and through the Arabiat as he goes. And on his way, Nico Forland. He'll be loving this at the moment. 6th place on the back of Thomas Herzog, who's got the top 4 right in front of him. Ramsey, what's happened to Ramsey? He's had a moment. He's tumbling down the standings. He's down in 9th place now. Walter Troninger has used all of his push to pass. And Mohamed Ramsey is now P10. So what has happened there? Valverde now does the fastest lap. We're on board Nico Forland. He's got Thomas Herzog now behind him as he makes a great move around the outside at turn 1, does Nico Forland. Now on the back of Torlachi for a podium, and with his rivals not yet scoring points bar Valverde. Nico Forland sitting in a very, very comfortable position in terms of the championship as well. Herzog just pushing the bounds, dipped a wheel in the gravel. Well held from Thomas. P5 still at the moment, and here he comes. Iron Man, as we called him last time out, the triathlon man. Coming through into the middle sector. Just losing a bit of pace to Nico Forland through there. The top 3 just starting to pull away from Forland a little bit. Augustin Torlachi then staying on the back of Adrian Gomez. Rivoli being able to just pull away up front. 1.6 seconds is the gap between Rivoli and Gomez. Good little fight this though for Torlachi to try and use, as you see them all the top 3 using push to pass out the final corner. And here comes Torlachi then. Look at the slipstream, look at the push to pass work. He's going to look up the inside. Great manoeuvre, laid on the brakes, gets it stopped. Easy as you like. Augustin Torlachi P2. What a move from the Argentine. And he can now hunt after Rivoli in the lead. Rivoli has 2 laps left. Robin Doney has got himself ahead of Koch for P8 and 9. Stanik's ahead of Borges-Orzo down in 14th. Lorenzo Hyder's got himself past Fabio Schlegel for 16th place. And Walter Troninger, the only man to use all of his push to pass at the moment. Luca Palmisano, the only man to not use push to pass. Here's Yannick Pletcher gaining on the back of our pole sitter, Mohamed Ramsey. Marcus Valverde's just got past Thomas Herzog on our timing screen. So Valverde up to 5th. In fact, what has happened to Herzog? Because he's dropped out the top 10 now. Doney, Koch, Ramsey and Pletcher all get past, and Herzog drops all the way down to P11. Here's Lorenzo Hyder. Not the race for him at the minute. Joshua Hayder, P15 from the back of the pack, trying to pick them through. He's got Borges-Orzo right in front. In fact, he's got a bit of a train right in front, all behind Thomas Herzog. After what happened to Herzog, I'm not sure. Merzel and Doney do their personal best laps of the race. Here comes Borges-Orzo then. Flies past Stanik like Stanik standing still. Borges-Orzo up to P13. Yannick Pletcher scoring points. Marcus Valverde scoring points. Nico Forland scoring points at the moment. And going well for Nico Forland in this race. Valverde's obviously lost out a little bit in the points championship last week. And with Pletcher not scoring well, this is a chance for Forland to reel Pletcher back in. Rivoli has 1 lap of push to pass left. That's got Augustin Torlacci, who is flying in this race all over the back of him. And Augustin has 5 laps of push to pass still to use. The Argentine absolutely motoring here at Mugello. And here comes Antonio Rivoli. Well, he's used his push to pass. He is done. Torlacci uses a push to pass as well. So will Torlacci be able to get past in the slipstream with the push to pass? He comes to turn 1. He goes up the inside again. Oh, little wiggle on the middle of the corner for Torlacci, and he holds on well. He takes the lead of this race. Great move, Augustin Torlacci, into the lead of this race. Little slide on the rear end of the car, but gets it stopped, gets it within the track limits. Didn't make contact with Rivoli, and that is a great move. Pletcher's up to 9th, ahead of Andreas Koch then. And Ramsey, P8, still has Yannick Pletcher breathing down the neck of him. Quite a good different groups of cars here. A few little trains starting to develop here and there throughout this grid. Yannick knows what he's got to do, and that is gain as many points as possible over those of Nico Forland that he's losing in the difference at the moment. Rivoli done for push to pass. He's already a 1.5 seconds behind, and that is not going to help Robin Doney then at all, because he's gone wide somewhere and off the track. And now Yannick Pletcher up to P8, so it closes the gap to Nico Forland, who's on the back of Gomez on our timing screen. Here is Robin Doney then. The only driver, I believe, racing in our Calm Lounge. Well, let's hope he can score some points this time around. A lot of drivers using push to pass. Nico Forland used it to good effect. A little twitch there, but he's past Gomez. He's on the podium. Looks a good day in Munich at the moment. You see a few of our Racer League drivers in the background. Sinander Murbach, Sebastian Hirsch and Sanchez. Not Sanchez, apologies. In the background there, cheering on Nico Forland. Rivoli done for push to pass. Nico Forland still with 4 laps left. He's going to really, you feel, is going to gain on Rivoli. And he really is. Torlacci out front, 2.3 up the road. Still with 4 laps of push to pass left himself to use. Valverde's now all over the back of Gomez. Here's Thomas Herzog, P12 at the minute. Little wiggle through the Arrabbiata. Manages to hold on to it somehow. He's got Borges-Orzo and Koch, P10 and 11 just in front. And for Herzog, it's a chance to get back in the points. Here's Marcus Valverde, P4. Sorry, P5 on the back of P4 of Adrian Gomez then. Changed his headband this week. He's gone from yellow to blue. still matches the other half of his car. Forlan 3 laps left. Valverde still got 6 laps of push to pass left to use. Zarzo moves up into the top 10. That's just happened. He's just got himself out of Koch. Who's that? In the gravel up front, Gomez. 2 wheels in the gravel on the exit curb. Loses all momentum. That gives Forlan a bit of breathing space then just behind as he hunts down after Rivoli. 2.8 the gap. Now Valverde can look on the rear end of Gomez. Can't get it done though. Really trying to get past here. He has got 2 laps or 2 usages of push to pass more than Gomez. So for Valverde, it's not all doom and gloom just yet. Will he use one at this final corner? No, neither does Gomez, so clearly wanted to save that. We're starting lap 11 of 21. So we're just a half race distance now, and now Valverde uses one towards the end of the straight. Here comes Marcus Valverde up the inside. He got squeezed by Gomez, but finds a clear run through, and that is a great move from Marcus Valverde there then. Puts himself into P4. Nico Forlan will now have the Spaniard coming hot on his heels. And Forlan really needs to get on the back of Rivoli, and 3 laps of push to pass left for him. Really needs to get on Rivoli and get past Rivoli so Rivoli can defend from Valverde. But what that means for Yannick Pletcher is that hard work he's done to get back in the points. Forlan and Valverde find some more points there. Through the S's, down towards the back couple of corners. Torlaci, since taking the lead, hasn't used push to pass, but has sailed off. 3.9 seconds a gap at the moment. Here's Yannick Pletcher down in 8th on the back still of Mohamed Ramsey. Doesn't look the day for the Zurich Loungers. Stanik's dropped to 17th place. Valverde now on the back of Forlan. Forlan uses push to pass to try and get past Rivoli then. The 2 drivers from Munich. And Forlan has done it before the corner comes up then. So it's P2 Nico Forlan, P3 Antonio Rivoli at the moment. Even more points in the bag for Nico Forlan now. 3.8 seconds to Torlaci with 2 laps of push to pass left. Mohamed Ramsey and Yannick Pletcher look like they're battling. Side by side, here they are now, look. And Pletcher round the outside at turn 3. Gets the job done. He's got 1 lap of push to pass left. And Pletcher now up to 7th. So every time Forlan seems to make a position, so does Pletcher. But he's got some 3 seconds to Merzel. Rock Merzel steadily gone about his business into the points. He's up in P6. What a shame for Mohamed Ramsey. His knockout pace couldn't develop into that race pace. Augustin Torlaci now, though. Will he come under pressure from Nico Forlan? 3.5 seconds is the gap. There is Alejandro Sanchez and Javier Loro, a few of our Racer League drivers at Madrid cheering on Augustin Torlaci. Joshua Hader down in 16th place, not really making the progress he'd have wanted after his knockout ban. Still a lot of laps of push to pass left for him, and he's on the back of Walter Troninger. Lorenzo Hader down in 18th place. Unai Morato, not the day for our 13-year-old driver, neither. He's down the bottom end of the order. Walter Troninger here, no push to pass left for him. One of our older competitors, and here comes Joshua Hader, uses push to pass, and is ahead of Troninger before turn 1. Bit of a wiggle though through turn 1. Troninger just avoids the back of him, and they come into 2, and Joshua Hader keeps hold of that place on the back of Fabio Schlegel now. So we'll hopefully look for a couple more points here. Here is our youngest competitor, Unai Morato. He's wearing a jacket while in that simulator. Must be cold in Madrid. It's Valverde, one man who's not cold. He's absolutely red hot. He's on fire. He's chasing down the back of Rivoli. 5 laps of push to pass still to use, and Valverde absolutely charging at the moment. Back down to Thomas Herzog. He's on the back of Andreas Koch for 11th and 12th place. Luca Palmisano's not too far behind in the background. Nico Forland, PB last time around, and Valverde has got himself ahead of Rivoli. So Rivoli's tactic of using his push to pass early on is not worked. And he's down to P4 now. So 2 Munich drivers off the podium. Here comes Thomas Herzog side by side with Andreas Koch and gets the move done. Thomas Herzog P11. Great stuff to see here. He's got 3.8 seconds to catch Borja Zarzo. And he hopes he can get this move done. Joshua Hader's got past Fabio Schlegel then for 14th and 15th place. That one is done as well. He's got a couple of seconds before he's got 7 seconds in fact. He gets to Gianluca Palmisano in this little trio of cars. Still got plenty of time to do it though, is Joshua Hader. Needs a second a lap over these cars in front. Here is Palmisano in our Zurich lounge. The Italian on home circuit today. Can't get it done in terms of the points yet. He's still pushing hard to try and get these points. Now, 0.2 of a second, Farland was quicker than Toll. Actually, last time around, Valverde quicker than all three of them, and a personal best lap for Marcus Valverde. In fact, the fastest lap for Marcus Valverde. Andreas Koch here then, currently down in P12. Thomas Herzog has pulled away a little bit, and he'll be staring more in his rear view mirror at Palmisano catching him. Walter Troninger on the rear wing of Schlegel. Joshua Hader, can he close that gap to Palmisano? Here is Troninger looking up the inside, thinks better of it. And that's good driver awareness. He saw the gap but didn't want to dive bomb, didn't want to risk a manoeuvre. Good from Walter Troninger there then. Just losing out through the S's into 4 and 5. And he still just doesn't seem to get these chicanes nailed. He's just missing his line through the middle part of the chicane. Yannick Plecher now on the back of Rock Mertzel. Obviously both in our Zurich lounge, and these two first and second last time out at the Red Bull Ring. But this for 6th and 7th. Here, Marcus Valverde uses a push to pass. He's 1.2 behind Nico Farland. Here is Rock, currently sitting ahead of Yannick Plecher. Yannick Plecher uses push to pass. And we see him just at the top of your screen in the rear view mirror. He pulls out. Is he going to have this move done before turn 1? Yes, he is. As easy as you like for Yannick Plecher. So the push to pass really working strong down the start straight, and Yannick moves into P6, so just closes that gap between himself and Nico Farland once again. He's got 5 seconds to Rivoli though. That one seems a little unlikely. He's used all his push to pass. Rock Mertzel has 4 laps left at his disposal to maybe get on the back of Yannick Plecher. Don't forget we spoke to Rock in Gear Up session. He was happy with points today. Borja Zarzo on the back of Doney here. This for 9 and 10. Borja Zarzo, the winner of the prologue, seemed a bit quiet in races since the season got underway. Marcus Valverde now right on the back of Nico Farland. Both with push to pass available. Valverde with 1 extra usage in Nico Farland. And the blue headband seems to have worked for Marcus this week. Chasing him down. They don't use push to pass here. Farland does now though, as he comes across the line, uses it late on in the lap. So he's got 1 usage of push to pass left to use as Nico Farland. Valverde still with 3. Absolutely flying. Yannick Plecher, personal best lap of the race for him. Was a lot quicker than Mertzel as well, so he's put daylight between himself and Mertzel. Zarzo's got ahead of Doney. Joshua Hader, fastest lap of the race, down in 14th place. Schlegel does a personal best as well. He's only 3.5 seconds off the back of Andreas Koch is Joshua Hader, so maybe the chance for him to gain some more places. Here's Borja Zarzo. Doney still in the background then. So it's Munich, Madrid so far on the podium. And the highest Kemptol Zurich driver is that of Yannick Plecher then. Here is Valverde once more, still hunting down after Nico Farland. They come towards the final corner for the 17th time. And will Valverde now use push to pass? Farland has 1 lap left. Good run from Valverde out the final corner. Down the start straight they come. He uses a push to pass now. Forlan doesn't, and Valverde pulls out to the outside line. That'll be job done before turn 1. Valverde moves into P2. And with that extra usage of push to pass, Torlacci has used one, but his gap remains at 3.5 seconds, just under. And at the moment, Valverde moves into second place. Nico Forlan now needs to use that final usage of push to pass very wisely here. Valverde just across the grass, a little wiggle from himself there. Towards the Arrabbiatas, he comes once more. 6/10 behind Valverde already. Here's your race leader, Agustin Torlacci, 3.2 in the lead of this race. Is absolutely flying. The field just starting to get strung out a little bit for the second and third place battle. And for Torlacci, at the later stages of this race, lap 18 of 21, here's Robin Doney within 4/10 of Zarzo then. Joshua Hader's got that gap from 7 seconds down to 1.3 to the car in front. Here is Robin. A little wider there than what he'd have liked. Gets back on the power now though. Left, right, bit of a short straight before the final corner. Still hanging in there in the points. He's got 4.5 seconds back to Thomas Herzog. Here's Hatsky then, who is, I believe, a lap down in this race. Yep, lap down in this race. Chris Hatsky then. 19th place and a lap down at the moment. Track and simulator time for him in this one. Joshua Hader. We said he was gaining on Andreas Koch. Koch's used his final push to pass. Hader's got 4 usages left over the next 3 laps. And looking for that P13. Maybe places up for grabs for Joshua Hader here. Loving the gloves there from Joshua Hader. Pink, blue, yellow, all the colours on there. Beautiful gloves. Can that rub off on the steering wheel though and use some good luck to get into the points? Maybe, possibly not at this late on. Yannick Pletcher catching onto the back of Rivoli. Both of these drivers have no push to pass. Yannick Pletcher just using pure pace here over Rivoli. He's dropped Rock Mertzel and he's really gaining on the back of Rivoli then. It doesn't look like it's going to be a third win for Kemp Toll. Torlacci uses another lap of push to pass as Valverde has started to pull that gap down. Was nearly a second faster last lap was Torlacci then. Sorry, it was Valverde over Torlacci. It's lap 20 of 21. I think Valverde's just left it too late. He looks like he's pulled far enough away though from Nico Forlan. Yannick Pletcher on the back of Rivoli, but still not close enough to make a move. He's got 2 laps to do so. Borja Zarzo does his PB of the race. Joshua Hader's within 1/10 of Andreas Koch. He's not no more. He's side by side. He's in front. And that is a job well done for Joshua Hader. Just runs a little wide. That's just to give Koch the room on the inside if he comes back at him. But Joshua Hader now 13th place. And he's nearly 2 seconds off the back of Luca Palmisano. You see Luca Palmisano up front. Can he get that job done? Rock Mertzel has got Mohamed Ramsey half a second behind him. You can see Yannick Pletcher and Rivoli having a good little battle up front. Mohamed Ramsey has all gone wrong for him in this race after such a dominant knockout performance. Looking to just score a couple more points on the back of the winner last time out. Torlacci and Valverde use their... so they've only got 1 lap of push to pass left. Torlacci only loses 3/10 to Valverde as they start the final lap then of this race. It's Agustin Torlacci from Marcus Valverde, Nico Forlan. Here comes Mohamed Ramsey down the line. Uses no push to pass. Yannick Pletcher as well on Rivoli. And that is job done for Yannick Pletcher. Is it job done for Mohamed Ramsey? I believe it is, yes. It is. You just saw the yellow car pop up in front there. So Mohamed Ramsey gets that place done as well. And that then is all she wrote pretty much for Yannick Pletcher. He's not going to gain 4 seconds in this final lap, but I tell you what a drive from Agustin Torlacci. Took the lead of this race early on and made sure he got it done. Yannick Pletcher up to P5. Valverde's come back at Torlacci, though, a couple more laps, and we could have had a race on our hand, but here comes Agustin Torlacci It's going to be a race win for Madrid. It's going to be a 1-2 provisionally for Madrid. Augustin Torlaci, your race winner. P1 provisionally for him. Marcus Valverde, what a drive as well. 19th place with a knockout ban for a second place. Nico Forland will cross the line, P2. Adrian Gomez, 4th place. It's going to be 5th for Yannick Pletcher. Rivoli, P6 in this one. Ramsey will get 7th place. Merzel provisionally across the line, P8. Borja Zarzo, P9. So a few of the championship rivals all scoring points. Robin Doney, P10, rounding out the points. Thomas Herzog, 11th place for him, just missing out. Joshua Hader, 12th in the end from 20th. Not too bad for him. Good result. Forland back-to-back 3rd places, back-to-back podiums for Nico Forland in Munich. And a good job for him. 13th place for Gianluca Palmisano. P14 goes the way of Andreas Koch. Then 15th place Fabio Schlegel, 15th place for him. And there, Augustin Torlaci, your provisional race winner, the Argentinian. High fives and smiles in Madrid for him. It's his first win here at Racing Unleashed. Obviously was new to the season this season. And a great win for Augustin Torlaci. Walter Troninger was in 16th place. P17 went the way of Mario Stanek. P18 for Lorenzo Hader. Not the race he would have wanted at all, and he looks disappointed with that one. Unai Morotto, our 13-year-old, took 19th place, and Chris Hatsky, 20th and last. Yannick Pletcher, championship leader, P5, good recovery drive, no doubt. He looks pretty pleased with himself. You know, what more could he have done? A mistake early doors led to him dropping down the order, but he's still got a smile on his face. Maybe what could have been for him today. Race Control, though, now are going to go through everything to give us a classified podium and get the classified result as soon as possible. But your provisional podium, once again, Augustin Torlaci, your provisional race winner. P2 for Marcus Valverde, all the way back from 19th place. What a drive from him. And then P3 for Nico Forland. Once again, is your provisional results. So no joy for Kemptol at Mugello, but it's Madrid 1-2 and Munich P3. And Munich still yet without a race win, Racer League or Challenger League. So Madrid and Kemptol, the two loungers with race wins, and that'll be fantastic to hear. We will hopefully hear from our top 3 momentarily. But points in the bag. Nico Forland pulls points over Yannick Pletcher, and that's what he needs in this championship fight. There then you see Race Control all going through everything as quick and fast as possible as they can. And I would not like to be on that pit wall right now, because that is where the magic happens. And they have got a tough decision to make, have Race Control, to make sure everything is the correct decision and give us our top 3 confirmed classifications. Well, hopefully, as well, be bringing you some replays a little later on of the race. We get to see some more of the action of the race before we go off air today. And if you enjoyed that race today and you want to see more Mugello, make sure you tune in tomorrow in the morning for the Racer League as they take on the circuit of Mugello then. And a fantastic race that should be. If you want to get involved here at Racing Unleashed, check out our social media, Instagram and Twitter. If you want to get involved in terms of driving in the Challenger League, well, qualification opens up on the 12th of June and closes on the 21st of June. So if you want to get involved in the Challenger League, make sure you come to one of our racing lounges, Zurich Airport, Zurich Kemptol, Calm, Madrid or Munich. Come down to one of the racing lounges, sign up, get involved, try and qualify for the next race at Imola in 2 weeks' time. Then, before the mid-season event at Zurich Airport in July. Bit of a month's break then in August before we head to Monza beginning of September and Barcelona at the end of September. October brings us Spa. November brings us Laguna Seca and the Battle for Glory in December, where we don't know where we will be. We don't know anything about the Battle for Glory other than it is that and round 10 of the season. So Race Control, you see there, doing their bit and are doing their part to make sure the result is the right result. Excuse me. As they go through the whole day. They've had a lot of work to do from the knockout qualifying session and this race. And they've had a whole lot of work to do in terms of everything. Results-wise, make sure it's the fair decision, the right decision. Obviously, drivers have until 12 o'clock tomorrow, midday tomorrow, to protest their results, Fabio said earlier. And we'll be joined with Fabio a little later on, once again, to just look at some replays and go through a few things. There at Madrid, they're setting up their podium celebration in preparation of their drivers who was 1 and 2 provisionally at the moment in this race so far, and that was Agustin Torlacci who took the race win. And Marcus Valverde, 19th to 2nd. What a drive from the young man. Changed his headband, so was that a change of fortune for Marcus Valverde today? As you see there in Madrid, they're just getting the podium ready and set. Agustin Torlacci, you see in the green simulator, still sat in his cockpit. Here we have the final moment, the confirmed podium for you then. Agustin Torlacci is your race winner, with Marcus Valverde second and Nico Forland third. That, I've just been told, is confirmed. So this man, a very, very happy man as he wins his first race of the season. And a fantastic job for Agustin Torlacci. In this race then, the Argentine driver is P1 today. So P1 for him, P2 for Marcus Valverde, 2nd to 19th. We've said it is now confirmed. That is a fantastic, stellar drive for him. And then we have Nico Forland, back-to-back P3s for him in the last 2 races. Good points over Yannick Pletcher as well. As you see behind me now, the confirmed graphic, Agustin Torlacci, Marcus Valverde, Nico Forland is your confirmed podium in this Challenger League Race 3. And I'm once again delighted to be joined by Fabio Vettiger. Fabio, welcome back. That was a good race.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a busy race actually for me as well. Having to choose the cameras.
Good work.
Was a bit, I hope it went well. I mean, I didn't see the end product. But yeah, very interesting race. For once, I was wrong with my prediction. So there would go the 10 Swiss francs or whatever we have to, confirm here. But yeah, awesome race. I mean, Agustin, well-deserved, really kept it together. Stayed out of trouble because there was some, mishap in the back. So congrats to him. Congrats to also the other guys, Marcos and Nico. And especially Marcos, because he came from the back.
Yeah, and if there's a way you want to answer back from a knockout qualifying ban, it's a second place. That's as good as he could have hoped for today.
I mean, almost the perfect race for him. I mean, he recovered so well. Well-deserved. Gives him a lot of points in the championship, actually. So he will close the gap to Yannick Pletcher and the other ones. So, yep, good for him.
Nico Forland, P3. Twice in a row now, P3 for him. Just doesn't have that at the moment to get over the line as P1 or 2 at the minute. But, more points in the championship. He finished ahead of Yannick Pletcher, who's just ahead of him. So it's good points for his championship in his season.
Yeah, very good. I mean, if you score consecutive podiums, that's always good for the championship. And, maybe Nico has, is looking long-term. So he just wants to be on the podium every single race. Obviously, it doesn't get easier because he will start further and further back in the knockout. But just those guys need to keep it together, and then we'll see how it goes.
Not the session, though, for Mohamed Ramzi. All that dominance of knockout qualifying. We didn't see what happened with Mohamed Ramzi, but it looks like a couple of his own mistakes led to him dropping down the order.
Yeah, I was super surprised, actually, that he wouldn't, just drive off into the distance. I'm not sure what happened there because I thought he had the pace to actually win it. But unfortunately for him, it didn't work out. I mean, he still managed to be in the points, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was P7.
P7, okay. So let's see if some penalties will be applied in the end. But very unfortunate for him. Tough day in the office, but maybe he's back in the next race.
Yeah, maybe he's back in the next race. We'll have to see what Mohamed Ramzi can do. Ironman just missing out on the points. P11.
Who was it?
Thomas Herzog.
Thomas? No, not again. Really?
Yeah, just missing.
Oh man, he finished P11 last time round and P12 in the previous race.
Can't quite seem to get them couple of
points.
But
let's wait for some for the final results actually, because there was a lot of things going on in the midfield.
Yes. Indeed, obviously Race Control have their work cut out for them upstairs at the moment, and I'd rather be stood here than in the chair upstairs and making them final decisions. That is Nico Forland, confirmed as P3, and we are just awaiting him into the commentary box for a quick interview and a quick chat with him. But he'll be very happy with today with P3. He'll be very content with that. Again, it's just points in the bag for what is still 7 races left in this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only points, it's also money in the bag for Nico twice in a row now on the podium. So he'll be very pleased with that. We see here lounge attendant attending to Nico. Maybe he's on mute so that we can hear him after that. But yeah, I mean, we will find out quite shortly.
Yeah, we will find out quite shortly, as Nico Forland, P3, very happy with that one. Obviously, back-to-back P3s for him, and he's really come back in this championship, and still no win for Munich this season at the moment.
Yeah, they're not quite there yet. That's unfortunate for them. But don't count them out. The Munich guys are quick. They're quick, and I'm sure Ramsey will be back as well. So who knows? And I mean, if anyone is out there in Munich listening or watching, come to the lounge in Munich. It's in the Motor World. It's a very, very, very professional team there. So, just try to qualify for the next challenge and see where you end up.
An inter-team sort of lounge battle. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would say there's a bit of a rivalry there between the lounges. Obviously, Munich, especially in the Racer League last year, was very well, placed in that order, if you would say so. This year, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see indeed. So at the minute, we are still just trying to get Nico Forland in with us. But again, your final podium, if you will, Augustin Torlacci race winner, Marcus Valverde P2 and Nico Forland currently P3. Currently, that is final, classified, done. It will not change. We are just believe we now have Nico Forland. Nico, can you hear us? I believe he can hear us. There was a thumbs up there.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello. Well, Nico, P3 once again. It's another podium.
Yeah, pretty cool. My pace was pretty unlikely, pretty sad today because in the knockout I have issues with my simulator and it's put me completely out of the rhythm for today. But P3, I'm fine with that.
P3, and it's confirmed as well, so you will not lose that P3.
Yeah.
It's points over Yannick Pletcher in the championship as well.
Yeah, that's pretty important. My knockout was... I'm so sad about the knockout for today. But I'm pretty cool that I'm finishing ahead of Yannick. So
we get to go to Imola in a couple of weeks' time. Is it a track you enjoy? Is it a track you go well at?
Yeah, I like Imola. I don't like Mugello. Instead, I won last year, but I don't like the track. But Imola, I feel it's pretty cool. So I like the track.
Perfect. Hi, Nico. This is Fabio. Well done to P3. Just a little question from my side. You told us that you had some technical issues with the simulators. What do you do, or how do you concentrate if you know something is off? You know, maybe your steering wheel wasn't straight anymore. I don't know what the issue was actually, but how do you cope with that? What happens in your head?
The problem with the sim was it's lagging. The screen was lagging, so every time when it pops up that someone was kicked out, I had input lags. So every time when I was going on throttle, the car was stepping out and I have no traction. And today in the race, every time I had the same issue that I don't want it to be aggressive on the throttle because I don't think it's a problem coming back or not. But I think it's just to cool down your head and have a look in front and not looking back. And stay on track. So, especially on Mugello, you have to stay on track.
Well, it was a great race from yourself, Nico. Congratulations on the P3.
Thank you.
Well done. And that P3 there. Nico Forland, and a bit of lag there. He's saying on his simulator in the knockout qualifying session. So in knockout, he was P6 overall. Finishes P3 in the race. That's a pretty good knockout and race to say he's suffering with some problems.
Yeah, perfectly executed by Nico. Maybe, took advantage from some carnage in the front, but still he managed to do it in the end. P3, another podium.
Yeah, another podium as well. And this man can be very happy, Marcus Valverde. A change of headband this week. It's been yellow for the last two. Is that a change in his fortune? Well, the blue one kept him cool and into P2. Marcus Valverde, position 2 confirmed. That was a fantastic race from 19th place on the grid.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even believe it at this point, I had the hope I knew I had the pace to at least top 10, but I couldn't, I wouldn't expect to be that high up. I think today it was probably my best race here on Racing Unleashed, and my pace was on fire, and I did 0 mistakes. So yeah, I'm very happy with my results.
Very happy with your results. Was it frustrating having to miss knockout qualifying and sort of sit and watch everybody else in Madrid?
Well, yeah, I was like mentally prepared, from weeks from. And I knew I had to start from the back of the grid, and yeah, I couldn't go worse, so just I focused on what I had to focus, and everything went well.
Everything did go well. 19th to second place. A couple more laps. It looked like you could have been on the back for that race win.
Yeah, I'm happy, but I wanted that win. It was I saw Nico battling with the push to pass, and it was pretty close. But when I passed him, he couldn't catch my pace, and I was looking at the delta, and all the time I was like 3, 4, 5 tenths faster than Agustin every lap. And yeah, it was pretty frustrating to not have more laps to try and catch him. But yeah, it was a pretty nice race.
Either way, P2 confirmed as well. Marcus, congratulations.
Thank you, Matthew.
His best race at Racing Unleashed.
Sounds good. And that coming from a knockout ban.
Yeah.
So maybe that implementation will take some fruits now.
Yeah, hopefully gives him the drive and desire to go on.
Yep.
Keep clean in the rest of the upcoming challenges then. And this man, Agustin Torlachi, P1. That is confirmed. That must be fantastic to hear.
Yes, it was a really tricky race. Really hard to keep the pace and hard to overtake the people. It's so dangerous to overtake. Just turn 1, and yes, I practiced all these 2 weeks with tow, with people, with race bots, and it come the first.
Yeah, first place, first win of the season as well. You've had good pace all season. You've now been able to get that win.
Yes, all season I trained a lot. This is my first season. I hope so much wins come in this season.
We go to Imola next in Italy, famous circuit. Can you replicate your race win?
I hope so. Imola is a good racetrack. I win some races there, and I hope it goes well.
Well, Agustin, congratulations on the win today. We wish you the best of luck at Imola. Enjoy this one.
Thank you. 1-2 for Madrid.
1-2 for Madrid, indeed.
Yeah.
That's what over Kemptal.
There you see the rivalry, actually. Yeah. So congrats to Madrid. Awesome race. Kemptal this time round.
Yeah.
Got unlucky.
We can see some highlights here. Here's the start of the race. Antonio Rivoli then at the start. And it was a good start for Rivoli because he challenged Ramsey down in towards turn 1. He gets off the line well. Good launch. And you can see here, side by side, the outside line, though, over Ramsey. Look, in fact, if anything, he's got a bit of a better start. Maybe a bit of push to pass as well.
I didn't actually see it, whether he used it. I was busy, trying to do the cameras. But yeah, might have been his chance really there. But, Antonio, it's his first race this season, so he might have been, thinking, I'd take it a bit more careful. It's first lap, it's double points, basically double penalty points. So, there was just no way that he should risk it.
Good launch, nearly got the outside line into turn one over Ramsey.
Yep.
Kept hold of P2 for quite a while until Ramsey made his mistake. What did Rivoli do today that took him off that podium? Was it the fact he'd used his push to pass too early and was out of it before the other drivers? Because he ended up finishing P6 provisionally.
You know, ultimately, I believe maybe he was lacking a bit of pace in the end. You know, yeah, sometimes it can be luck a little bit when you use your push to pass. Some drivers used it maybe a bit more clever, but in the end, I mean, still it's P6 for him. It's first race. Very good result.
Good points. Doty and Hyder, not sure which one. Well,
why is it always Robin? Oh, he loses it. Okay,
yeah.
I mean, he lost it, tried to keep it, and then bumped into another car. I mean,
the thing there is, what do you do in that situation? Because you either hit the car on the outside, you hit the car on the inside. You know, he's clearly lost it on his own.
Definitely, and you know what the problem there was? He had cold tires. You know, they were waiting on the starting grid. Usually first lap, you need just a bit of patience because the grip isn't there. He loses it, and who's the guy?
Lorenzo Hyder
crashes into Lorenzo, and then that was just unfortunate. And that's pretty much the race over for Lorenzo.
Yeah, indeed it is.
Very unfortunate.
And Lorenzo there kind of puts him on the back foot for the rest of the race, and he had good pace today as well to try and get him into that top 10. It always seems to be Robin at the moment, though, doesn't it? Obviously, that one. How will Race Control look at that one? He span on his own.
I can't tell you. I mean, Race Control, they're super busy up there. I mean, yeah, it was his fault ultimately. Not sure if they penalized this situation here because obviously he lost it by himself. So Lorenzo was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, but still, I mean...
Rock Merzel, 3 wide at the... wow.
Who was that? Was that Valverde in the yellow car?
I'm not sure, but he's got it. He got it stopped. Rock wisely got out of that one.
Yeah, he rocketed through Rock basically there. I mean, that was awesome. He was super late on the brake.
It was Valverde. Look at this. What a move. So...
super late on the brake.
How close that could have been to going wrong and him not being P2.
Yeah.
Good move.
I mean, very good move, but imagine if this would have been contact. It's another penalty for Marcos, and he already is now back to 0, and he has no penalty, so that one was a good one.
See, that's the fine line of judging it to, do I risk it for the penalty points, or do I think, well, I want as many places and points as possible? Rock there, though, very early on the brakes, did not fancy any of that.
Yeah, Rock was just trying to get out of the way, I believe. You know, maybe for Rock, it's just we saw it on the timetables for the pre-quali. It wasn't Rock's best circuit, so good thinking by him. And here we have Walter bumping into, I don't know who he was,
Stanic
but
was into the back of Stanic there.
That's Sazo here, I believe, in the
caused one bit of chaos.
And that's actually Lorenzo going by. So he actually had, you know, he was 12th at one.
I think so, yeah. I think that was Yannick following him through into 13th.
Exactly. So he got actually through that crash quite well. The issue came later. He had a spin in the last corner.
So here's Borja Zarzo then. So Walter Trauning has hit the back of Stanic. Them two have spun around. A car back across the circuit catches Zarzo. Zarzo spins around, catches... I'm not sure who that is. And then it's like dominoes. You knock one over and they all seem to fall.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing here, what you saw with Borja, he tried to avoid the crash in front of him. He was actually braking. And this is what Race Controls wants to see. They don't want people to just go through a crash flat out. So that's very well done by Borja. Unfortunately, it was just a chain reaction.
And Race Control will have all that information in front of them, throttle input, brake input. They'll be able to see who's braked for that incident and who's done what. And the correct penalty will be given in the right accordance then. That was Mugello Challenger League Race 3 of the season. We do have one more replay to show you that we're getting up for you in just a moment. This is Lorenzo Hyder coming down towards the Arabiatas then, with Yannick Pletcher, we're being told, is involved. It's just before the Arabiatas. Oh.
That's a tricky one. Can we see that again?
Yeah, I wonder
if Race Control or our guys in front of the TV see that. It's Yannick who comes over to the right. Lorenzo will turn in now.
Ex-driver's point of view.
I mean, Yannick was in front.
There's a course width. He's left the space at the end of the day. So do we think that's more Lorenzo's turned in early?
Or maybe Lorenzo didn't see Yannick. I mean, it was maybe on a...
Yannick's,
I can't judge that now. That's a bit...
Race control will decide that one. Let us know your thoughts on our social media, Instagram and Twitter, Racing Unleashed. Go and check it out there and let us know your thoughts on them replays and incidents. And if you want to get involved, do follow us on our social media platforms. And if you want to be in the Challenger League in 2 weeks' time, the 12th of June, qualification opens till the 21st of June.
Yeah, it's another kind of like
short
a double header. Yeah, maybe we see that. Maybe our guys on top can show that again.
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's next week already. It starts.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, Monday. Qualification opens. So if you want to get involved, Calm, Kemptol, Zurich Airport, Munich or Madrid, get down to any of our 5 lounges and make sure you check them out as we get ready for our podium celebration. Then P3, Nico Forland in the background. It's not as dark there in Munich now. It's staying lighter at night. And I'm sure the lights are beaming for Nico Forland. Yep, a good third place.
Yep, very good. Well deserved. Greetings to the guys there. That's Max taking a picture of P3 Nico, always flexing his biceps.
Very happy man.
Happy man, guys in form. Let's see how he does in the next one.
Yeah, Imola, he said he's looking forward more to Imola than to the one at Mugello. Then he's not a big fan of Mugello, and he'll take that P3. We head over to Madrid now. Bit of a new scenery for Madrid today as this man, Marcus Valverde, steps in for his P2. Yep. Good support there in Madrid for him.
Done.
P2, what a drive.
Yeah, what a drive. A lot of fans there. Is this his family, I guess? Yeah. He seems a happy man, so well done to Marcos. Good for the championship, actually. I was fearing that maybe Pletcher would just, drive off in the championship, but this is actually a very good result.
Very good result. And this man kisses the steering wheel, collects his medal. Augustin Torlacci then P1 for the Challenger League round 3 at Mugello. A very happy man. A kiss on the simulator as well.
Yeah.
He's enjoyed that one. He's going to enjoy that for a long time.
Yeah, very good. And you see how much it means to him. I mean, he's training a lot like the other guys in Madrid. It's a very competitive environment down there, so I hope to actually meet them.
Great to see the two there.
Yeah. So Madrid is on a roll now a little bit. Huh? We had many podiums already by Sanchez. Now we have those two guys.
David Seed as well took a race win in Racer League. These two now this week. So Madrid on a bit of a roll. Kemptol on the back foot after this week. Who will bounce back at Imola 2 weeks' time? Make sure you join us for that one. Racer League tomorrow as well. What can Michael Schmiedel do? Alejandro Sanchez, the man in form there, really. 2 from 2 in podiums for him.
What do you think?
We'll wait and see. Ask me tomorrow.
Did you see the times?
No.
No?
Close?
Yeah, it's close. It's always close with those guys.
Christoph for another race win?
I haven't seen Christopher's time yet, I have to admit, but he'll be up there.
He was there today, bit of coaching with the Hayder brothers.
Yeah.
So he'll be ready to go for tomorrow.
Definitely.
Yeah. Difficult, though, for Christoph Holstein.
Yeah, I mean, last time around he started from pole position.
Yeah.
Tomorrow he'll start from the back, actually. But he gains 2 places because we have 2 knockout bands. So that would put him sort of...
He's going to be around the 15th to 18th.
17th.
Yeah, he's going to be around there. Yeah. So he has got a lot of work to do. Being told to never back Holstein as a race winner. Well, there's only one place to find out if he will win or who will win, and that is tomorrow morning. Join us live for that one where we'll be bringing you all the action of Gear Up and Knock Up. But from all of us here at Racing Unleashed, have a great Friday evening. Take care. Good night. Has tamed the bull.
This is Racing Unleashed.